Hey everyone, before we dive into the episode, I want to give you a quick reminder to go enter our current giveaway for a free year subscription to Marvel Unlimited. It's over on our Instagram page, and you can find the link in the show notes for this episode. If you want to have access to over 30,000 digital comics from Marvel, where you can go and read your favorite stories, get caught up on the big events like Secret Wars, Secret Invasion, or even go back and read the Infinity Gauntlet comics, you can do so in the palm of your hand. So what are you waiting for? Go check out our Instagram, enter the giveaway, and hopefully you'll have your name pulled on January 1st. Welcome to another episode of Earth 894. We are so close to the end of the year with only a few more weeks before December is over, meaning we're going to be fully into 2023 with Phase 5 going into full swing with Ant-Man Quantumania coming up. We just got a new trailer for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 that we are still not emotionally prepared for, plus a lot of great installments coming into the MCU. If this is your first time listening to Earth 894, we have a Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast where we dive into the multiverse to bring you every week what's going on with the movies, the rumors. We give you reviews on movies and TV shows. We get the cool interviews lined up. But for this week, we're going to be diving into a little bit of Phase 4, giving some rankings, and catching up, Louie and I, with talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. So make sure if you like this episode, give us a review, give us a good rating. Spotify and Apple Podcasts, we love the 5-star ones the best. My name is Devin Stone, and I am so happy because we are actually doing an episode in person. I can literally look my esteemed, lovely, beautiful, handsome, mustache-wielding co-host in the eye 2 feet away from me. And it's going to be a great time. So it's going to be a good episode. We'll get a lot more banter going and everything, but you guys strap in and let us know what you think of your Phase 4 rankings at the end of the episode. So I get to say this. Louie Tonorini, how's it going, man?
Oh, man. I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm a little chilly because it is like, what, 15, 20 degrees in Chicago right now.
It's
But
fucking cold. It's cold.
it is cold.
I
It is cold.
hate how cold it is here.
Dude, same. Sometimes I wonder why we even live in the Midwest. But you know what?
Shout out to our boys on the Two Sides of the Story podcast. Live in Canada, where it's 20 degrees year round.
We love you, Tommy and Sean. Go check them out.
God, I hate how cold it is here. I wish you didn't say anything. It's making me sad.
I'm sorry. Well, hopefully we can warm you up with a little bit of holiday cheers and spirit because we watched the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, which, I got to say, surprisingly, kind of surpassed my expectations. I did not expect to like it as much as I did, but, James Gunn just killing it. I think 2022 is probably the year of Gunn, just across everything.
Okay.
Bold statement, fair to say?
No, I mean, between you and I don't think James Gunn has put out a bad thing that I've watched yet.
Right?
I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm a big James Gunn aficionado, like I know everything, but between both Guardians of the Galaxy movies, the Suicide Squad, and then Peacemaker and Holiday Special, all up there for me. I don't think there's anything that I would dislike or, I don't have a bad thing. I mean, obviously there's bad things to say about everything, but I like them more than I dislike them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Did you see Brightburn?
Nope.
Do you know what that is?
Nope.
So imagine it's rated R for good reason, but imagine if Clark Kent got sent down to Earth, right? And they pick him up, same thing, but he's actually bad, like super bad. Like whoever sent him is like pure evil and he just is on a path of destruction. James Gunn produced that movie with, I think, Sean Gunn too, a little bit. It's really good. It's dark. It gets gross, but it's got Michael Rooker in it and other stuff.
Sean Gunn.
Yeah.
We'll get to it when we get to the not the spoilers, but the predictions from the trailer. But I didn't even think of Sean Gunn. Kraglin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but if you ever want to check it out, it is what it is. It's like a one and done for me, but Brightburn is pretty good.
Is it a cartoon?
No, it's live action.
And it's a Superman movie? Or is it's not actually Superman?
Right. It's just like take the origin of Superman, but make it like a what if he's evil, like super evil.
All
And
right.
it gets pretty fucked up. But it's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the first time I heard the Billie Eilish "Bad Guy" song
Oh,
because it was the end credits plays "Bad Guy," and it's so funny because like
banger, honestly. Banger.
yeah, it's just funny to hear that song after that movie ended because it's like doomsday level. But yeah, let's go back and talk about some cheery stuff too before I go into that. Um, Louis, every week we talk about what has been marvelous in our day to day life. Have we, as we go to usually, did we collect a new pop figure that's Marvel centric? Did we read a comic book? Are we still playing Marvel Snap, which I might call a new segment, the Marvel Snap Date? Weekend Snap Date at Earth 894. But what we like to do is just kind of catch up, talk about what we've been doing as a little bit of a way to warm up, and then kind of dive into the news and reviews and all that fun stuff. So this segment is called
MCU for you.
That's right. So Louis, what has been MCU for you?
It's been quite a long time since we've recorded, I feel.
Yeah, when was the last time we did something? Was it?
I feel like I had a full beard the last
Yeah,
time
that
we
was the
talked to each
Wakanda
other.
Forever review. Go check it out, guys.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, with Tommy. Shout out Tommy. Off the top of my head right now, I've watched Guardians of the Galaxy because I love that movie. I just got a brand new, just today, really, a Marvel Collector Core box
All right.
from Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Came with this dope old shirt with M'Baku, Nakia, Okoye, and Shuri.
Does it glow in the dark?
I don't know.
Because some of the green on there kind of looks like in the triangle.
Yeah.
It kind of gives that feeling,
That-
but I don't know.
I don't know. It's possible.
Looks good though.
And it also came with a Shuri sticker. She looks like Bad Bunny. An M'Baku pin of his face, and and two pops of Io and Shuri without her like in full Black Panther armor but no helmet. So now I've got two pins plus a Wolf Road pin. So I ordered a cork board today to hang up somewhere to put all my pins on.
Ah, nice. That's cool.
Christmas time coming. I've watched the holiday special 3 times. It's not as long as a movie. It's really not as long as a TV show. So it's just something nice to put on. I put it on when we put up the tree. Yada yada yada. I restarted Hawkeye.
Oh, nice.
You always said Hawkeye is going to be your Christmas time show.
Yep.
I restarted Hawkeye.
Heck yeah.
So I am pretty much in love with Haley Steinfeld at this point.
Who wouldn't be, right?
The problem is on Instagram, I went to go search something and there was a picture of her and, being a man, I clicked on it and now she's all over my I looked at one
It's the algorithm.
reel or whatever the hell it was. And now it's all I see. She's everywhere. Her and Haley Atwell all over my
It's the Haley's, man.
yeah. Oh, I didn't even think of that. New Spider-Man No Way Home Pops came out. There's an 8-pack Walmart exclusive. And I sent the link to my wife with the eye emoji, the
little peak.
So she ordered those for me. With the 3 Spider-Men. Doc Ock with the Iron Man arms, Norman, Sandman, Lizard, and Electro. But it's like that one split-second scene where the whole thing comes over his face. Yeah, the star over his face. So that will be coming around March. And then, because I am a slave to the industry, there's a boxed lunch exclusive Green Goblin from like the first movie where he's in the full armor. So I ordered that guy too.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. There's another one of Andrew where he's got the mask in his mouth when he first walks in. And I can want that one too. Fuck. How many Spider-Man pops do I need?
Yeah, I thought about that one too.
And there's some down here too. But I digress. Devin, what's been MCU for you, friend?
Boy, do I have a story to tell you.
Hell yeah, I love stories.
I'm gonna save the best for last because this is just hilarious. But I too actually tried to restart Hawkeye the other night because I was like, you know what, it's time. It's Tab. And plus, it's like just past I think it was a week ago, was the first episode anniversary of when it, first streamed or whatever. Which is wild. I think it's already been a year because that was pretty big. I mean, we finally got Vincent D'Onofrio back as uh, Kingpin. It was confirmed, like, oh my God, it's actually him, which means Charlie Cox is on his way and everything. And then we finally got him, No Way Home. So
Yeah, that was
big. It was a big
I
December.
think we saw the photo of D'Onofrio at the very end of the episode.
Yeah, on the phone.
Was Hawkeye still on Fridays?
Yeah, that was still Fridays.
So no. Was it Wednesday? Were they coming out on Wednesdays for a little bit there?
Actually, you're right, because once Loki had the success with Wednesday releases,
Yeah.
that's when all the shows like got moved to Wednesdays instead. You're
So we got the picture of D'Onofrio on Wednesday, and then we went and saw No Way Home on Friday.
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday, the next day.
Yeah.
So we got D'Onofrio the Wednesday, and then Charlie Cox on Thursday. And I know I'm interrupting you. I'm gonna let you finish. I promise.
No, you're
but
good. You're good.
I did see a Funko Pop. It must have been a concept, but because I saw it on TikTok,
Mm.
and it was like Charlie Cox sitting from No Way Home, him sitting with the red glasses and everything else. Because there's that famous Matt Murdock pop that's impossible to get now. It's
Yeah.
$400. But now there's like a newer one, and that's what I'm so happy for, at least for my collection here, is that eventually I feel like we're gonna get the yellow and red Daredevil from She-Hulk and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, continue.
No, it's all good, man. You bring up a good point because that was like such a wild week, man. So good. I wish I could relive that.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, right? Aside from that though, like playing a lot of Marvel Snap, and then I decided to try and finally get back into like reading some comics again. But I haven't gone back to Secret Wars yet, which before the year is over, I will finish that because I literally started that in like January. I don't know why it took me that long to read like 12 issues. No idea. But I decided to actually start the first issue of Spider-Man 2099. Kind of get excited for Spider-Verse because that comes out in May next year. And there was like new photos, I guess, that came out of like the animation and everything of Miles and Gwen and all that. It just looks so cool. And I cannot wait for that movie. But this is my favorite thing. So I think at this point, it was shortly after Wakanda Forever came out, or is right around that time, but we just didn't talk about it or whatever reason. Someone took our podcast email address and created a fake dating profile on RussianCupid.com. And all of a sudden, like I was seeing in our inbox, all these like emails from like Russian Cupid. You know, you get like spam of like random shit like that all the time, right?
Yeah.
But they were coming like constantly saying, so, like, this guy like sent you a message. This guy liked you. Like all these guys like, hitting up our email, like our DMs almost, right? That I was like, okay, this feels too weird. Because they were coming in like every 2 minutes. Whoever they made this fake catfish profile, they were getting the guys. But it was like all just the kind of people you would expect. The Tinder crowd. This is the more adult, like older crowd. Yeah,
They looked like Alexei Shostakov.
kind of like these were, this is much older, more mature adults, to say the least. More awkward a bit, but like I was like, yo, what the hell is this? Like, how? But then I started thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can log in. I somehow, no joke, it didn't ask me for a password. I clicked on one of the emails where it took me to like the inbox. It logged me in. So I have no idea what password they used or what. But I'm pretty sure I changed the password as soon as I got in just to be safe. And so I'm 100%. I'm in Russian Cupid right now as this person, and I'm like, who are we apparently being? And it was some woman, I forget her name, but it was literally just like random photos they stole of some woman who happens to be Russian, whatever. I'm looking at the interests, right? Like, okay, what are their interests? Like this kind of age range, this kind of body type, all that shit, right? So messages are coming in, right? Well, you have to have a paid whatever account to actually like see some of the messages, but some of the people had a paid account, so I could reply. So I started replying to some of the messages.
Oh my god!
Because they're asking.
Oh my
Because
god!
this person was actually like who stole and made the fake account was actually kind of replying a little bit and asking about like, the kind of weird shit you would expect. So I start responding as like the same time. So I'm like, what's your favorite Marvel movie? I'm like asking like, they're like, oh, what you up to? I'm like, oh, I'm listening to my favorite podcast, Earth 894. I started promoting the podcast to these fucking people who they match with through the fake catfish on RussianCupid.com. So I started changing some of the interests on the dating profile, saying like, love Marvel, like favorite book. I put like Infinity Gauntlet. I put like loves listening to podcasts. I legit started pimping out this profile for our own benefits to kind of like counter troll the troll. But then before I started like really going into fun, I immediately was like, of course, like taking the appropriate route. Like, how do I report this? Because clearly this is terrible. So I was going through like the FAQ and the support and everything. And tell me why they had so many things about like, be careful of fraud. If this person if someone tries to message you on this website asking you to like meet up here or like send you plane tickets or like just random shit that I was like, oh my God, dating profile on the internet is terrible. But it's like literally like, make sure that they are not like an imposter. Be mindful of this, like stranger danger, right? But they had a thing like, why do you want to like contact support? Literally one of the options was like, someone used my email address for a fake profile.
Yeah.
That was literally one of the options. So I chose it. I sent it. I didn't expect them to even respond to me. I thought it was going to be some weird fishy site. But they replied within like 5 minutes and they said, oh, we're so sorry. We'll definitely terminate the account. And then I was like, wait, I kind of wanted to go back. Like, wait, never mind. Stop. It's okay. Because I wanted to keep trying to do this because there were so many, like this person had like 40 matches in an hour. It was insane. So I was like, I'm just going to keep going with it.
So we have to make a Tinder account for our podcast.
Apparently. But like before I could have more fun, it got shut down. It said 100% access denied and everything. I think I still have some of the emails and everything, but it was just like, I was laughing my ass off, man. I never would have thought someone would have stolen our fucking podcast account to do this. And now I'm saying this too. Someone's going to be like, oh,
yeah,
you had fun the first time. Let me do it again. But yeah.
We ruined Brian's fun on RussianCupid.com.
Like, oh my God. I can't even be like, I don't know. Should we be mad? Probably. Should we be concerned? Yeah. But also, this wasn't our personal email address. That'd be a different story. This is a brand, a podcast, whatever. But like, I kind of wanted to see like what that other person was actually thinking. Like, who logged in? Who hacked me? Right? Like, what the hell? Scam the scammer.
Yeah, somebody hacked my account. That's messed up. I'm surprised that it was all in English.
Yeah, well, it's called like Russia Cupid or whatever, but it had a lot of people who were like UK, like all over like that area, a lot of different countries and stuff. So I guess that's why. But also could have just probably set my thing as English as like the default on the browser, and it probably translates automatically.
Oh,
I could have done that.
Didn't even think about that.
Yeah, because I think even the fake account wasn't actually said that they lived in Russia. I think they said they lived in like France or some shit. Talk about an MCU for you, right?
Yeah, that was pretty good. Wow.
I can't believe it.
You're out here trying to date Russian men. Good for you.
You can't say we're not dedicated to try and promote our podcast. And after that story, guys, you can see what we will do just to try and get someone to give us a listen, right? We'll take advantage of a good situation. So if you think we warrant a good review after that story, help us out. Give us 5 stars. Help us promote. You're on a dating profile. They ask you what your interests are, what you're doing. Plug Earth 894. And you know what? We will give you a shout out. We will tell them like, hey, you need to date this person because they are cool.
You sent me a few photos the other day. We had decent numbers on the Spotify Wrapped thing.
Yeah.
From what I could tell. But then again, all of our sister podcasts had just about the same things on theirs. I guess I don't really understand what most of this means. And of course, now that I bring the photos up, I'm only allowed to look at 2 of them.
I have it up here too. Like, for example, and this is all on our Instagram page. You can go check it out. But we will do a couple shout outs. I'm glad you brought this up. Our podcast was in the top 10% most shared globally on Spotify. That's pretty damn cool. Um, we were also, we added 3,000 minutes with 39 new episodes at the time of the release, whatever, for 2022, which is crazy. Um, we were listened to in over 13 countries just on that platform alone. So if you're one of the Russian Cupid people who you found out from a fake profile, we are sorry. That person was fake. And also probably try a different dating profile or platform. But this is pretty cool, dude. We're the top podcast for 11 fans. That means we were number one podcast that they actually listened to for the year.
Did you see anybody post about us being number one? I saw us on a few, but
I don't know if we saw number one.
I think we were number 2 on Mr. Marvel's.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. But we're also top 5 for 32 people, top 10 for 47, which, like, it might not sound like a lot of numbers, right? It's not like we're crazy, like 10,000 people, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, for us, just seeing that stuff, I don't know, but it makes me feel pretty damn cool.
Right.
That's good. So if you guys are, anyone's listening and, you didn't get a chance to tag us, or maybe you just don't use social media as much or anything, we would love to just hear from you. You could email us at our non-hacked email address, earth894 podcast@gmail.com. But there were a few people who were really awesome who actually gave us some tags saying like, yo, we were one of your top or whatever. So I'm going to try and pull that up again because I definitely want to give some credit where credit is due so we can tell you how much we love and appreciate you. But Louie, did you check out your Spotify Wrapped, like from the music side?
So I don't use Spotify. I use Apple Music, and I am such a dad. My number one song was "We Don't Talk About Bruno" from fucking Encanto.
Oh my God.
That was my number one album. My number one artist was the Encanto ensemble cast, whatever. And then my number one what was my number 2 was this artist. It's called Super Simple Songs, and it's Henry's like crack cocaine, and it's just like the songs that you'd think for little kids. 5 little ducks went out one day
Oh my God.
over the hills and far away. And then I had Baby Shark was up there, and yeah, and and then Running Up That Hill from Stranger Things was up there because Henry fucking loves that song. So, and then Hannah's was the same. I think Running Up That Hill was her number one song. And she's like, I don't listen to that song. But Henry's pretty good at going, Alexa, play Deal with God. And she goes, okay. Oh, no. Sorry. As soon as I said it, I was like, yeah, there's one behind me, isn't there? like an old Scooby-Doo. He's standing right behind me, isn't she?
It's Winks, man.
Jinkies.
Dude, that's funny. My Spotify Wrapped.
I saw it's all composers.
Yeah, because I like, my ADHD, I need to focus. So I need like instrumentals and stuff. So I listen to like lo-fi and movie soundtracks all the time. But yeah, my top 5 people, right, was like Michael Giacchino, Alan Silvestri, John Williams, Hans Zimmer, and then one actual band, Modern Baseball, who always seems to be in like my top 5 every year, which is it just cracks me up. But
I did see our good friend of the podcast, Alvin Silverstry, made your
as soon as I saw that, I was like, "Where's gonna see it?"
I did notice that immediately. Like, oh, fucking Alvin Silverstry.
Oh man. But on the topic of the top 5s and everything, so a few people who did give us some cool shout outs here. Of course, Brian, Mr. Marvel Minutes. We were his number 2 on Spotify. Thanks so much, man. And go and check out our episodes with him because they're always a good time and he predicts a lot of good stuff. Dan Fab's Metal, good old Dan Ocampo. We were number 4 on his top 5. So thanks so much, man, for sharing that. And then also Pixie Dust Sammy. So she is one of the co-hosts on the Team Unicorn podcast. They do a lot of cool like Disney coverage and stuff. So go check them out. But thanks so much for making us number 3 of your top 5. I also see number 4 was their fan club podcast, which is a cool time. We were on their episode covering
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right? Comes full circle.
Oh.
Go check that out. It was a really cool time. So thanks everyone for sharing that. And like I said, if you didn't share or maybe weren't thinking about it just yet, you should do it. We'll give you a shout out just like we did now. We don't care when it is. Even if it's the next year, we'll do it.
So I'm going to move us along here. Friday, I think it was day after Thanksgiving. I was outside putting up my Christmas lights with with my son. He was like, "Can we do a project?" That's his new favorite question. "Can we do a project?" I was like, "Sure, let's go put up
Mhm.
Christmas lights." So I was outside doing that. Finally, uh, my daughter had gone to bed. She's a monster.
Mhm.
So I was like, "Okay, let's put up the Christmas tree." It's like our tradition. Day after Thanksgiving, Christmas tree goes up. So I come inside. My lovely wife Hannah says, "Well, I'm just gonna go change around the laundry. I'll be right back." I said, "Okay." So I'm hanging out with Henry. She goes, "Something's leaking in here." I was like, "Oh my fucking God, no." And I walk downstairs and the laundry room is underwater.
Ooh.
Not the whole thing, but enough to where I knew it was the sump. And it was smelly. And I walked into the sump pump room where I just got Devin's chair from. And that was completely underwater. I was like, there it is. There we are.
Mhm.
And so long story short, I got the water out. Took me forever. And then my cousin and my uncle, who are notorious handymen, came over. My uncle was visiting from Texas for Thanksgiving, and now he's doing work at my house. They came over, they looked, they were like, "Yeah, this is all fine." We went to Menards day after Thanksgiving. Luckily, there was
Mhm.
Menards. Home Depot. Think Home Depot if you're not from the good old Midwest. Um, we went to the hardware store. I bought a new sump pump, and they came back, they installed it and everything. Fine. Later on, we all went to my mom's house and they were there too. And I was sitting there, I was talking to my cousin about the show and everything. And I got a text message from Dan. I have to read it because I was so taken aback. Like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? I had I thought he was drunk. It said, IDK, what Christmas is a certified banger or something. I was like, "What the fuck does this mean?" And I read it like 3 times, and
Mm.
it was like you were talking to your friend, so it wasn't perfect grammar or anything, and I was like,
Yeah.
so I Googled IDK what Christmas is, and it said, "Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas Special." I said, I haven't watched that yet." And I was like, "Okay." So then I messaged him back. "Yeah, I haven't been able to sit down and watch it just yet." And he's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. I only watched the first, like, 10 minutes, but my daughter kept dancing, so we had to turn it off." That seems like all the reason to keep it on. But day after Thanksgiving at my mom's house stuff, we came home, put the kids down, and my wife and I watched it for the first time in our bed at, like, 9 o'clock at night. And that morning, you had texted me that it was great and that you thought Henry would love it. Honestly, you don't know Henry very well. He did not. But it was fine. I loved it. Hannah loved it. The ending made us both tear up a little bit, for different reasons, I've learned, because I was like, "Yeah, blah, blah, blah." She's like, "Oh, I didn't even think about that." But yeah, that was my first experience. I'm sure you watched it at 4 o'clock in the morning, as you do.
Almost did, but watched it like a reasonable time in the morning. It was like probably like 7. That came out the day after Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, that Friday.
Right. Yeah. So I actually watched it at like probably like 9 a.m. because of the day off. That's right.
Yeah. You just said it was lots of fun and you thought Henry would enjoy it. I think the only parts that Henry would have enjoyed were the very beginning and the very end when they were cartoons,
Mhm.
because Henry does not like real life people unless you're Miss Rachel. And I don't expect you to know who Miss Rachel is, but she's another one on
Mm.
YouTube who like talks to babies and sings songs. She'd be like, "Do you know what to do with a spoon? Eat. You eat with a spoon. Yay!" And then she claps, and then my kids are just like,
Do use it to eat.
and I know you can't see me, people listening, but just imagine Bug Eyes mouth agape, staring into the abyss of just Miss Rachel singing "Sticky Icky 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 Bubble Gum." Sticky, 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 sticky bubble gum.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Today my kids were fighting like hell. I turned it on and then they both just into the abyss. But I digress. I pointed out Drax. Henry loves Drax. I said, "You know who that is?" And the Drax that he's seen is he's like a
Yeah.
green color with the deep red stuff. Also a cartoon. And so he sees Dave Batista standing there. He goes, "Is that Pappy?" Which is my dad. And I said, "Because he's bald?" That's the only thing that could get you to that fucking conclusion, kid.
Yeah.
Because Dave Bautista is 6'4",
Uh,
300 pounds of just muscle, and he's fucking gray, dude. Where did you get, like, what are you doing?
mhm.
I said, you know who that is? And I pointed at Mantis. No clue. Because Mantis isn't in the Guardians of the Galaxy books that we read. But it was pretty funny. So that was Henry's response to Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.
That's pretty cool, man. And I think that's actually a good starting point for us to go into the good old holiday special because kind of paint the picture here. I mean, you said you watched it, got to watch it like 9 o'clock at night, very comfy and all that fun stuff. But did you kind of know much about the special at all going into it? Like, did you see any trailers or anything like that kind of sway you?
Literally nothing.
Nice. I think it's also like probably the thing I saw the least amount of. I knew there was a trailer and I think I avoided it. I just knew, of course, like Kevin Bacon was in it. It was live action, all that.
Didn't even know that.
Wow. Wow. What do you think of Mr. Bacon in the MCU?
I thought that he, like, if you're not going to bring Kevin Bacon in as a character, I thought that was like the perfect role for him to do.
Mhm.
The only actor that I think would have been better would have been Hasselhoff.
Oh, that would
But
have been funny.
he's a little crazy. And also, he was in Guardians 2 for,
Yeah.
2 seconds.
Credits and stuff. Yeah.
And he's, he sings the song and everything. But I think, like, Peter's big thing is Footloose, and he loves Kevin Bacon. Like I explained to my mother-in-law the whole Infinity War thing where he sees Spider-Man and he says, "Is Footloose still the greatest movie of all time?" Peter's like, "It never was." And he just gave him that look.
Yeah. Like, how dare you?
Yeah.
I don't like you.
Yeah. So Kevin Bacon, I think, was a good choice. The only one that I think would have been better was Hasselhoff, but I can see why they went with it.
Right. It seemed like he had a fun time too. Also, he was very chill for just seeing a mantis looking alien person at his door with like the ring doorbell he had with the camera and shit. Like, and go away. Like, there are two people on your fucking property, dude.
Well, at the first one was them.
At the gate.
Yeah, I got a gated house, and then they jumped. Well, Drax jumped. Mantis was thrown.
Yeah.
And then he was like freaking out when they were at the door. And then when they got in, he pushed over his Christmas tree and he was running like hell. And that's when Drax got his funny little man. And I refuse to call it an elf as long as Drax is involved. It's a funny little man.
Little man. And the pop figure too. Like, I remember seeing at my local FYE, they had the holiday Guardian pops out and stuff. And I saw the Drax at the elf, but I didn't really think of it. But now that I've like seen the special, he's holding the funny little man, she's holding the candy cane, and now it makes it even like how much better.
Yeah.
And I understand the reference.
In the pops, Groot has the antlers on.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the other character that Henry recognizes is Groot. He's like, "Oh, Groot's a reindeer. Groot's a reindeer." And then Rocket's just holding something. It's not Bucky's arm. So
Does he have the present?
he might have a present, but I thought Quill had a present.
Oh, maybe Rocket is holding the long present box, which makes sense because he's holding Bucky's arm unwrapped.
Well, now I have to look it up.
Yeah.
But Quill's got a Santa hat on.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, he doesn't wear a Santa hat
Yeah, he doesn't, does he?
in the special. That was one thing that kind of brought me down, was for obvious reasons, but Quill seemed very sad
Mm-hmm.
through the whole thing,
Right.
which I'm so used to Quill being like happy and fun and funny, and that's not what I want.
You bring up a good point too, because like last time we saw him was in like Love and Thunder, and he didn't even seem like he's like his happy, quirky self. He seems more kind of like he'll make quips in here and there, but he definitely seems like he's carrying a lot of like stress on him. Especially now trying to be more of like true Guardians of the Galaxy. In this whole special, we see the whole thing like pretty big moments. Like they now bought and own Nowhere from the Collector, who also is now confirmed to be alive. But like, I think a lot of what's going on with Quill is that he definitely is like stressed and a little bit more serious. I think that's going to probably carry a lot into Guardians 3. We're seeing him like not himself, just because he has so much to kind of mature and take care of now with responsibilities. So it was kind of interesting to see that.
And they took the The 5-pack off Amazon. I don't see it.
Mm.
And of course, the one single one that I can't find is Groot. But or not Groot, Rocket. But Groot is holding a long box.
Oh, Groot's got the long box. Gotcha.
And another thing, I'm sorry, we're going into this deep dive of Funko Pops, but Drax is even wearing the sweater of the cat with the laser eyes that he wears
Oh
in the
my
holiday
God.
special.
That's even better. Talk about detail.
You had said forever ago that this holiday special is supposed to lead
Mm-hmm.
right into Guardians 3. It's supposed to be like a big thing. I can only think of two things from this special that are really going to be important would be the purchase of Nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that might be a big deal. And then the fact that Quill's got brothers and sisters around now. You know, the fact that Mantis is his sister might be something, but probably not. But I think it would be more of a big deal that like Ego was doing this thing all over the place. And he might have a brother at another planet or a sister at a different planet or here or there or this or that. And I'll be honest, I've seen the picture of Adam Warlock a few times from the trailer
Yeah.
and just trying to, you know, I scroll like everybody else, and I just kept thinking it was
Oh,
Homelander.
really? Because of the hair and everything?
I just would scroll and I'd be like, oh, Homelander, and I just keep going, and then finally I like stopped for a second, and it's clearly
"Wait
not
a minute."
Homelander, but you just like this guy is not even he's gold. I don't like maybe there's something fucky with Adam Warlock. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know, but I feel like they're going to give him more siblings, more family, more something.
You know, that's interesting because like I haven't thought about it. Like, could there actually be other siblings still alive, other than Mantis and him? Because you know we saw that like bone collection of all the ones he's taken and consumed and whatever. Um, but you know that guy literally was planting his seed on all over the place. So there's probably got to be some out there who, even if it's just a handful, that don't even know who he never even contacted, whatever. So that is kind of curious, kind of interesting to see what that could be.
I just feel like the rest of the special, you know, going to Earth, getting
Yeah.
wasted, hanging out with Kevin Bacon, and I just don't think that's going to be that important for Guardians 3.
No.
So
Right.
the two biggest takeaways that I got were those. What did you think of the whole Yondu? They brought Yondu back, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael Rooker would do anything for James Gunn. I'm starting to learn. He was just, you know, in animated form when they were kids, and he just hates Christmas so much, and
Yeah.
he's just angry Ravager man. And I pointed out to Hannah, you know, spoilers obviously for the holiday special. We'll watch it, you know, but I pointed out to her at the end, he gets that knick-knack, and I said, yeah, in the first movie and even in the second movie, he's got like the knick-knack collection on his.
Yeah. It's all.
So that's like his first little knick-knack, you know, that starts his collection. And she's like, oh, I didn't even realize
Yeah.
that. I said, yeah, that's why it was like so deep. And then he got Quill his first blasters, which he's always using those blasters.
Mhm.
And so it's like setting up for later on in their lives and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's so sweet. You know, she
Mhm.
just was taken back by the fact that it was like a holiday nice thing and everything. But
Mhm.
poor Kraglin. You should know better, Kraglin.
It's like, what, man? It's for real. But
Sorry, Captain.
Kragen's always so cool. I love Sean Gunn.
Captain?
But yeah, man, it was cool. Like this, that was my biggest surprise is that James Gunn did so well with actually doing more character building in like a limited time that didn't feel forced. It was actually like going back and just seeing like little moments and explains a little bit more about the relationship between Quill and um, uh, Yondu and everything. So that was really cool. But also the fact that Mantis is his sister, I don't know why I never really even like. I mean, they kind of hint at it a little bit in Guardians 2, because you can even see when he's going through like, here's a history of how I fuck everyone in the world or galaxy. You see, there's even like the same species that Mantis is. You see one of those fake like couples of him and whatever. You see like her, but it's like in the top left corner. You can see it, but it's like, oh shit, like I didn't even think about it. Because in the comics and everything, historically they're not
New
siblings.
stuff.
So
Yeah.
this is a like one of the first spin-offs on that. Yeah, which I kind of like. It's kind of cool to see like, he actually has a sibling and they're not alone. And
If you want it to be exactly like the comic books, read the comic books.
yeah.
Like
Hmm.
it's meant to be twisted a little bit. Obviously, I don't like it when they do crazy shit and give people different powers or stuff like that. But as far as stories go, give us different stories. That's fine. I'm not, you know, cast
Hmm.
whoever you want to be whoever you want. I don't care about that. But don't give me Wolverine with fucking wings or something. Be like, no, he's got wings now. Be like, that's not right.
Or he's not adamantium.
Yeah.
He's like vibranium.
Even that would be that
Borderline.
would probably piss me off. But
Yeah.
I can see why they would do it, but I would be like, come on. We all know it's it. James Gunn has been on record saying that he wanted to do like a Drax and Mantis movie. I feel like this is the closest he's gonna get. I didn't when I heard there was gonna be a holiday special, I didn't know it was gonna be like a Drax and Mantis special.
Yeah, they did pretty good at taking the lead on this.
Like very little to no Rocket,
Mhm.
very little to no Nebula. I say to no as if there was no. It's just very little.
Yeah.
Very little Rocket, very little Nebula, very little Groot. A little more Star-Lord, but not a ton.
Mhm.
It was like the Mantis and Drax show,
Mhm.
which I liked, but I also was like, I expected it to be a Guardians thing, and
Like that was the
yeah,
whole team kind of doing. Yeah.
but
That's
it
fair.
was fine. What did you think of the song? I don't know what Christmas is.
I didn't mind it because like one thing that I love is Gunn is just so good at his music choices, especially with like why is he choosing this song in particular for things? It always has like a good meaning and it's wild how much it goes into things. Um but I've heard some criticism talking about like, oh, it seems so weird and cheesy. It's like I heard someone just like criticize those aliens saying it looked like a bunch of cosplaying aliens at a convention. They didn't feel like they were in universe. I don't really think that. I don't think it's a big deal. Um, but I did like Quill's just kind of like commentating when they were playing. He's like, "What? Like you literally just got those instruments today or whatever?" And you're like, playing
Yeah.
it. Like I thought it was funny because it's like, yeah, this is kind of absurd. So he's calling it out, and a cool little thing. So we just started using the new social media platform called Hive, which is pretty cool, guys. A lot of people are ditching Twitter for obvious reasons. We never had a Twitter, but we're checking out Hive. But I got to see when I was looking at like the day the special came out, I'm looking at like the hashtag and the post and all that fun stuff on Hive. And there were some people who were actually extras on the set, like in the crowd and everything on Nowhere. And even one of the guys, I think, who was like close up and got some cool shots, were like posting about like, hey, like the holiday special dropped and this was me in it. And this is like photos of me on set behind the scenes. And like that, you don't usually see right away on like Instagram and like the very overpopulated, saturated platforms. So like on Hive, small user base, like right away seeing these people and I might try and reach out, see if we can get them on the podcast. But that made it really cool for me because I'm like seeing these people like, oh my God, it was so much fun. This is me. Like, check it out. So I don't really see there was like a bad thing about the band, the people, like literally the Nowhere folks. But it was a good time. Good time.
So on December 10th, when you guys are playing, you guys aren't going to be like, rain, 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 dear, 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 dear.
And then was it the elves will rise up and kill Santa? Or like just like the lyrics were so twisted. It was so fun.
What? No.
But it makes sense because like you gotta think like the only way they know anything about Santa is through Quill, right? And so he told Kraglin, who Kraglin told like someone else, told Nebula and told Rocket. And Rocket is always making things sound violent, right? So if he told them about Christmas, it makes sense like, well, they got the lyrics and shit, but it's just like so funny, like a bad game of telephone. Makes it
Exactly.
sound
A
like,
bad game of telephone.
yeah.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
Do you ever were you ever a Futurama fan?
Yeah.
Did you watch their Santa Claus episode where he's like the robot Santa and like the elves are like malnourished and like slaves pretty much, and he like basically goes to planets and like kills people.
I can't say that I have.
It's a weird episode, but it's basically just like that. Like their song kind of described that kind of Santa Claus.
It's funny you bring that up. Have I ever told you about my Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 just being a long episode of Futurama?
I don't know.
So, we're going on a little adventure here.
Strap in.
Have you ever seen the Futurama where Leela meets another Cyclops?
Yeah.
And he's like a guy and he's just trying to, they get married, or they're going to get married immediately and start having babies and repopulating the Cyclops. And then it turns out that this guy's like a shapeshifter.
Yeah. That's right.
He's actually been banging people all over the place and having their babies.
I see where this is going.
It's the exact same thing as Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It's almost like, other than Ego being like a big, powerful god, and this guy just being a grimy shapeshifter, it's like the exact same plot.
Yeah. Damn.
Oh, yeah. I think about it every time I watch the show. Because, like, they show that one scene where it's Ego with the different women from the different I don't want to say races, but species, or however you want to say it. And then they show like almost that exact same scene in that episode of Futurama where the guy's like, "Oh, I've been with this creepy thing and this guy and her and him and stuff like that." It's just funny you brought up Futurama.
It's funny now that I'm like looking up, I'm like trying to see like, is James Gunn a big Futurama fan, I'm seeing articles here and there, just random things, but there's one from joe.ie.com. Never heard of it. The title here, the headline is, "Did you notice these massive similarities between Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and a classic episode of Futurama?" There you go, man.
It's not my website, but I definitely thought about that every time I've seen the movie.
Futurama, a Cyclops for 2. Damn, dude.
Watch the episode one day just for shits and giggles, and you'll be like, "Oh yeah."
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm looking at stills and it shows him like almost like a Greek pantheon, like Babylon type of like civilization. He's showing posters or like a artwork of like Leela and a clam naked, like that classic, I don't know, artwork and shit. Damn, dude, this is legit. So much of it. Wow. That's funny.
I can't believe I've never brought that up to you.
You just blew my mind a bit. I never knew about that.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. That is cool. That is very cool.
If Hannah was sitting down here, she'd just be shaking her head at me. We get it. Because I say it all the time. I don't know what Christmas is. I can't remember how the Kevin Bacon song went.
Oh, the last one? It's like, everyone just wants to get like cuddled and like.
Yeah.
Everyone just sticking in. I like that song actually a lot.
Marvel's been doing a great job at fixing my gripes as they happen.
Explain.
I can't remember the last time, but I remember being like, in what world? And then they're just like, "Oh, by the way, this is blah, blah, blah." I was like, "Oh, they fucking answered it right there."
Like,
And they did that again on the holiday special because Craglin's sitting there with Kevin Bacon. And then his phone rings. Immediately, I look at Hannah and I go, "You got to be fucking kidding me." His phone's ringing all the way in space. And then he goes, "How is my phone ringing right now?" Craglin's like, "Oh, we got really good satellites. They just work." I was like, well, goddamn, there it is. They answered it. It just made me laugh. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Another thing that I noticed while it's fresh in my brain was the lady with the cool fanny pack sold Drax and Mantis that map of the stars. Were you able to get a still of the stars that were on there?
I know a couple off my head, but
was it just the people from the Suicide Squad?
There was, of course.
I saw John Cena.
There's John Cena. There's Margot Robbie. I think there was 2 more people.
Was Idris Elba on there? Like, I feel like it was just people from the Suicide Squad, and James Gunn's a fucking genius. Like, I was like, "Oh, this is John Cena," and then I thought I saw Margot Robbie, and I was like, "Oh my fucking god, that's hilarious."
I feel like Viola Davis was on there.
It's possible.
Yeah, I forget, but it was definitely as soon as I saw Margot and then I saw John Cena, I was like,
John Cena's the first one I noticed. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, this is the people from the Suicide Squad. That's hilarious.
You know what I kind of got a kick out of? If one of the people on that map too was like Kevin Feige.
Oh, that would have been funny.
Because like that's a super tiny cameo. Literally, like they go and knock on Grandpa Feige, and then
That would have been the perfect spot to put Stan Lee. God rest his
so
soul.
good. Damn, I didn't even think about
Yeah,
that.
throw Stan Lee on the thing.
That'd have been so good.
I was like, yeah, I remember because I was like, oh fuck, I wish I would have paused that. And I was like, oh, just rewind it. I was like, it's fine. I want to finish. Yeah, I want to watch
and then go back. Yeah.
Listen to Kevin Bacon sing and everything. But the best was like Groot. We'll get to Groot. Groot rolls him out, and the box opens. He goes, "What did you do?" I'm like, "We got you, Kevin Bacon. You can't get someone a person." And then Groot's like, "Yeah,
it's human trafficking."
Says, I'm Groot. And he goes, "What do you mean you didn't know about it? You rolled him out here."
It's like, real quick. So I got a picture of the map. So Margot Robbie, John Cena, Queen Latifah, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then I can't tell who this person on the bottom is. Who do you think that is?
Don't know.
I have no idea.
Don't know. You're gonna have to post that on our Instagram and ask for help.
I feel like it has to be someone from the '90s or something.
Whoever names them all gets a.
I'll look it
stickers.
up real fast, but
I don't know. That's the other point of contention is Groot. You're looking it up. I'm just gonna talk here. Groot looks so fucking weird in this movie, and I think it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Had Avengers: Infinity War and Endgame not come out in between Guardians 2 and the holiday special. I have not seen what Groot looks like in the Guardians 3 trailer, but in Guardians 2, he was a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And now in this holiday special, he looks like that baby, but like swole. Tall and swole. But in between, he was like skinny teenager Groot. And I think a weird thing that shouldn't bother me as much is that his head and face were thin and tall. And now he's back to short, chubby baby face again.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if like the Russo brothers got to pick how they wanted Groot to look versus James Gunn's picking how he wants Groot to look. But this looks more of the James Gunn type Groot versus the Groot that we got in the Avengers movie. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does make sense because also I was like, because even like people asked, of course, like what phase of this, right? Or they even asked, I think, a little bit about like what will we expect with Groot in Guardians 3, and he kind of explained it. But real quick, so we could put the map to bed. So yeah, why do we see Queen Latifah? No connection to Gunn, but she did work with Kevin Bacon in Beauty Shop. If you remember that movie.
Nope.
Yep. It was remember Barbershop with Ice Cube?
Yeah.
It was a spinoff, Beauty Shop.
Okay.
Then of course John Cena, we know why. Then Schwarzenegger. What's connection? Chris Pratt is married to Catherine Schwarzenegger in 2019. So that is technically Chris Pratt's father-in-law.
I did know that.
So I forgot about that connection. But that other person we're trying to figure out who was, it's Mark Paul Gosselaar. He's the photo they use is a throwback compared to the others because it's from Franklin and Bash alum, worked with Dave Bautista in 2015's movie Heist. So basically, yeah, it's just some guy from, whatever, Saved by the Bell and worked with Bautista.
Okay.
So there you go.
Margot Robbie's on there because of
Harley Quinn.
Yeah, that's the only reason. But the first guy I saw was John Cena. And then I thought I saw Margot Robbie. And I was just like, those are the people from the Suicide Squad that James Gunn directed. He just threw those guys in there. That's hilarious.
So before we keep talking about the Groot, though, do you want me to spoil how Groot looks in Guardians 3?
Sure.
He literally looks the exact same.
As the Guardians special?
Yeah. So it's nothing crazy. Because I imagine these probably take place relatively close.
That's what I figured.
Maybe slightly more buff, but he still has the exact same head shape. So it is what it is. But Gunn was talking about it on the Twitter thing.
That head.
Yeah.
But just on a big body.
Gunn was saying that Groot is a little bit different. We see him different but he said he's not as much like his father, which isn't technically this Groot the son of Groot from Guardians 1?
Yes. I think that's the technical thing that's happened. It's not like a rebirth. It's the Groot that I love from Guardians of the Galaxy is dead. And this Groot is his son.
Yeah. So I think that's why he looks different, which I'm okay with.
That being said, the Groot from Infinity War and the Groot from the holiday special are the same Groot, but they look so very different.
Yeah.
Which is weird to say when you're talking about a tree alien, but it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like you recast a tree alien. It's not like you're going from Terrence Howard to Don Cheadle.
Yeah.
And just be like, deal with it. Yeah, that's fine. But this is like
a tree.
You animated him to look like this, and now you're animating him to look like this. What happened here? I don't truly care, but
also maybe it was mentioned, I don't know. How old is actually the 15 group or 2014, whenever first Guardians came out? How old was he in that incarnation of Groot? Who knows?
Yeah, no, I would assume thousands of years old. I thought they said, but I could be wrong.
So he could always grow. He could always grow into him. And is that 1,000 years? How many times he's been just Groot as a Groot as a Groot?
How many times has he had his arm chopped off and then grown back and stuff like that?
Is that technically his son's arm, and then every time he loses the arm and comes back again, is it a different son?
The Groot that we have now lost an arm when he made Stormbreaker.
Mm-hmm. If the arms the arms and legs and everything are always cut off but come back, is it the same ship with Theseus? I don't know. Now that would be a conversation. Vision and Groot. I would love to watch that. Probably boring as hell.
Absolutely.
Make no sense.
That's a podcast. Vision being all high and mighty and Groot just going,
how do you work?
I'm Groot.
But yeah, so we'll see. But one of the things I love too is like when they do the whole present exchange. Did you notice that the presents that Groot gives everyone is literally the retelling of the holiday special?
Yes and no. My thing was I saw Mantis. I think Mantis got her. No. Excuse me. Drax got him flipping a car, which happened in the holiday special. But my favorite was Kraglin's gift of Kraglin opening the gift of Kraglin opening the gift. And it was all the same. And then like he had a bow on his fin. And then his diagram had the bow on the fin. And then the little present, was the bow on the fin. And then he was doing the same smile over and over again. That made me laugh a lot.
That was funny
because
as hell.
I paused it a couple times to look at those gifts too. And Kraglin's was the one I was like, oh. But I didn't notice the other ones. But I did notice Drax flipping the car and Kraglin.
Yeah. I don't remember the others off the top of my head. I mean, they're just the events as they unfolded, but I just thought that was so funny. Like, how did you have time to make this? You probably just thought it, grew it, gave it away. So I got a kick out of that. Did you notice too that, and we'll get to the whole arm thing in a second, but you know that one SNL song, the Christmas Today or whatever, the din 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 din.
I can't say that I do.
I just had it up here in a little list. But it's that classic like SNL skit with like Horatio Sands. Who else? I forget, but basically
Jimmy Fallon probably. If
Jimmy
Horatio
Fallon.
Sands is in it, I can only assume Jimmy Fallon's there.
Chris, you're right.
Kattan, he was always with those two guys too.
And then Tracy Morgan. I wish it was Christmas Today. This special, this little song.
Yeah, not off the top of my head. Did I name all the guys though?
I think you did.
Look at me.
Yeah. But they did a cover of it towards the end of the special, which was funny. You don't even catch it unless you actually like look it up. But I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah.
James Gunn ain't fucking around. I think he's gonna do big shit for DC. We were just talking about that.
Dude, he really is. I mean, well, also we got Batman references in this.
I thought I remembered a Batman reference.
Yeah,
who said that?
It's Kevin Bacon because Mantis. They found out he's an actor. They thought he actually did all those things, like, which is funny. And also, he was in an X-Men movie. So how does that work? If they're referencing all of his filmography, yeah, he's an X2.
Was he just a government guy?
Yeah, I forget. It's not a major role, but like, you know, if you're going to talk about all his movies, he was in a mutant movie.
Yeah, that would be a Brian question.
That's a conundrum paradox. But yeah, she's like, no, pretend to be someone else. And he goes like, I'm Batman. And there's like, it was just so funny, especially with like
See,
his.
I thought there was a Batman reference, but I couldn't remember for sure.
And wasn't Eternals we got a Superman reference?
I think so
Yeah.
because of Icarus being a Superman.
Mm.
What's the word I'm
Yeah.
looking for here? Superman copycat, for lack of the word that I actually want. Rip off.
Rip off.
Superman rip off. Fuck, that was pissing me off. Yeah.
So DC is canon.
I mean, DC, their top 3 to 5 guys are just legendary.
Yeah.
Marvel, their number 1 guy is always going to be Spider-Man. But DC, between, I would say the big 3, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, those are
Right.
like, obviously everyone knows who Batman is. Everyone knows who Superman is.
Mhm.
Everyone knows who Spider-Man is. And then Wonder Woman's a little bit below that with like the Hulk and
Mhm.
Wolverine. Like,
There you go.
I had to say it. So I think it's funny that they meant, like, they're no slouch. They're not pretending that Batman's not a real thing. Like, I think that's cool. And with James Gunn being the vice president of talent relations or whatever the fuck he is, I know that's not what he is, but
Coach,
Yeah.
chairman, president, director.
he's a whole thing over there now. I think it'll be cool.
Mhm.
What was the other one he wanted to do? Like a Groot and Harley Quinn movie or some shit.
Jeez.
He wants to do some weird shit.
You know,
He's a weirdo.
speaking of weird shit too. So Santa is Marvel Comics canon. He is a character in the comics. And he's supposed to be like one of the most like, you know, powerful beings because he's Santa. That's the one thing I was really surprised because I think like a long time ago when Gunn was just like asked about the special, like, are you excited about it? All that fun stuff, right? I think he was saying like he's really excited to like finally get a character he's always wanted or like an actor he's always wanted. People are always saying it's fucking Santa. They're gonna bring Santa into the
That would
MCU.
have been fucking awesome.
That's the one thing I was kind of like, damn, he didn't go for it. He didn't give us Santa, which I don't know. There's probably good reason. Probably didn't really think it was that big a deal, but
Probably just didn't make any sense to bring in Santa.
yeah, and maybe that was like if you bring in Santa, I think it to eliminate the whole Kevin Bacon subplot, and it has to go into almost like Drax and Mantis Save Christmas sort of thing with Santa,
Yeah, bring him Santa instead of Kevin Bacon.
right? And then you're literally just telling us how many stories like Nightmare Before Christmas, Kidnapping Sandy Claus, and other things. It's like, oh, they gotta save Christmas. That's that's kind of boring. Give us Kevin Bacon, a human trafficking joke, and
Yeah,
no, he was human trafficked technically.
yeah, basically. All in all, good ass
Right.
show.
Does this earn an instant classic for you, like an instant rewatch every holiday season?
I'll probably watch
Yeah.
it every Christmas or so.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to watch than all of Hawkeye.
True, you can just do it in one sitting.
You know,
Yeah.
turn that on when I'm fluffing the tree or
Hmm.
hanging ornaments or whatever.
Yeah.
Got a few bangers in there. Yeah. And like I said, Guardians of the Galaxy's top 3 for me, top 5.
Mhm.
I would probably say top 5 because Avengers are so good. But
Hmm.
as far as solo movies go, it's 1, 2, maybe. Between
Interesting.
Thor Ragnarok, Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man No Way Home,
Mhm.
those are all,
All fluctuates.
but yeah, give me more of that. And I feel like Guardians 3 is not going to let me down. Everybody's
Dude.
so quick to judge everything now, and I feel like every movie we watch,
Yeah.
everyone's just like, I thought it fucking sucked. I thought Thor Love and Thunder sucked. I thought Black Panther Wakanda Forever sucked. Multiverse of Madness was terrible. Fucking it's just like, I'm not that guy. Every time we walk out of a movie, you're like, what do you give it? 9. Easy 9. Every
Best
time
thing
we walk
ever.
out of a movie. Venom versus Carnage, what do you give it? 9. I gave that a 9. I watched it right now, I'd be like, that movie was not as good as I remember it being. But that's just because when I'm sitting there and I'm watching, I'm like, this is awesome. This is awesome.
Yeah.
They made this for us. And then everybody else is just like, well, fucking and But I expect, I keep going off the rails, but I expect Quantumania to be so very good. Chef's kiss. I expect
Mm-hmm.
Guardians of the Galaxy to be so very good. Chef's kiss. I expect the Marvels to be so very okay. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, man, we're gonna have to do another episode too, just like phase 5, we did a phase 4 prediction, or kind of like a not speculation, kind of like a preview. I know at the beginning of the 2022, which I had to like go back and look at, where we talked about like our predictions for the year. But honestly, we'll save it for another episode. But I think phase 5, by what's already being previewed, what kind of things we're going to get in just 2023 alone, I think phase 5 could potentially be the best phase of the MCU next to phase 3. Potentially, depending on how it goes. But it's definitely going to be one of the most important phases because of so much that it's setting up and going to do.
I agree. I think Marvel had this big plan that led into phase 3. And it was just this big thing. And then we had this big crescendo at the end. Thanos, everything else. And then you had Far From Home, where it kind of came down. You get that awesome solo in the middle of your song, and then the end goes, "Bow."
Yeah.
And that was Far From Home, that fade out. And then you start the next song. You're like, that was so good. And then the next song you're just playing, and you just, I don't know, let's just throw something in there. Phase 4 didn't seem like it was very well planned for me. Like there wasn't a map for it as much. They were just like, here's the stories we want to tell right now. To end with Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I thought Wakanda Forever was a good movie. I don't think it was a phase ending movie. Is that fair to say?
I think that's fair because, every phase we've had was a big Avengers ending.
Avengers, or the movie after a big Avengers movie.
Yeah.
If they had like a big ass movie right before and then Wakanda Forever ended it, that would have been fine. But we
didn't get a big team up movie.
Just not a big movie. There was no big deal in phase 4.
Yeah. The first time without an Avengers film in it.
So I just feel like this phase, they just kind of went, okay. I feel like we were just talking about Kevin Bacon. Kevin Feige just came out and he's like, by the way, Black Panther ends phase 4. Here's what we're going to do for phase 5. Because there was no definitive thing. He was never like, phase 4 is going to be this.
Other than just him saying it was grief focused, but it really felt like they were pulling the plug early. I think phase 4 really was supposed to go all the way up until like the middle or almost end of phase 5.
And yeah, I remember, God, before COVID. So it had to be like 2019, beginning of 2020. No, it was probably summer 2019. There was that big ass Comic-Con. They were like Thor: Love and Thunder, where Natalie Portman come out with Mjolnir, and Thor: Love and Thunder. I think they announced Shang-Chi.
I can't remember if that was 2019 or 2018.
They said there was going to be another Black Panther movie. But they never gave anything about it.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened, and they just scrambled, and then they were just like, "Here's some shit. Here, take it all." And as fans, we were like, "Yes, give it to us. We'll take it."
It was the launch of Disney Plus too, which they were really trying to make as a big deal.
Yeah,
because they wanted to get their spot on the throne of the streaming wars.
So phase 4 was just odd.
Kind of like throwing darts at the wall.
They were just like, here's some story. Yeah, like I said, some stories we want to tell with no real map. Some things connected, most things did not. Like Black Widow had Yelena and Hawkeye had Yelena. And then Contessa Valentina, like Allegra de Fontaine, was around in certain things. But then you had like Shang-Chi that didn't connect to anything. So far, at least.
Right.
The end with the rings, and then also Miss Marvel's gauntlet, or not gauntlet, but her
like bangle.
Yeah, That's what it was called. Um, that might be a thing. It might not be a thing. The whole quantum realm thing might fit in. But as of right now, you saw Shang-Chi once.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. The Eternals, the big, the big celestial in the room. Everyone keeps bringing it up. How come nobody's talking about this celestial in the middle of the ocean?
Yeah.
They just don't. That didn't connect to anything else. You never hear from. There's fucking 17 celestials. You never hear from any of them anymore. Just one time, one movie. But obviously, they have more plans coming to kind of bring it all together. But Phase
Mhm.
4, I just felt like they weren't really trying to do that. I appreciate Phase 4. I loved it,
Mhm.
but it just wasn't as cohesive to me as the other ones.
I agree.
I feel like I keep saying the same things and I'm rambling, but do you know what I'm saying?
No, I think you say a lot of valuable things because I think a lot of people would agree with you too. Because like it's the biggest thing is there wasn't a clear through line, and sometimes I don't necessarily feel like it's a good thing when the people who create it, right? I think your producers, your directors, your writers, everything, Kevin Feige, for example, have to go on like an interview and explain it to us because it's not like saying the audience is stupid, but it's like when everyone is claiming like, what the hell is the point of all this, right? Like that's like what's the lead up? What are we really going for? Ultimately, it's really just the fact like we're getting a bunch of new characters. It's okay to do a bit of a reset. Everyone's grieving and trying to get ready to like go from like knocked on your butt to finally being standing on your own 2 feet again. That's fair. But really the only thing you have to take away is that um like where the character is at now and also that he who remains is going to be the big bad. So it's like he got introduced in Loki.
I cannot wait for
Yeah.
more Jonathan Majors. I love that guy.
I just saw him in Devotion.
I know you did see that. I saw your letterbox
Very
thing,
good.
but he's everywhere right now, which is just hilarious because of the Kang thing. But he's got a good look. He's a good actor.
Great human being.
I'm excited for him.
Yeah, dude, he's gonna be big.
Yeah.
He's gonna be a big deal. So that's the only really thing. It's like we got introduced to him early on and not like in a post credit scene, right? Like with Thanos and Avengers 2012. We actually are seeing this character. We're gonna see him a lot and everything. So I felt like if we were to get a little bit more of like how do you make phase 4 more cohesive? Okay. You in Loki was what, the third thing of phase 4? We got WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, and then we finally got Black Widow around the time of Loki, right?
I think
It was that
I
summer.
think Black Widow came out. It was either in the middle of Falcon and Winter Soldier or the middle of Loki. So Loki was either third or fourth, but yeah.
So if you're gonna save like his introduction formally in Loki, and let's just go with it, right? So you get in there, make him appear in other things, especially with all this is a variant, all this is like the various timelines in the multiverse saga. So that's why I totally thought it'd been possible. Like he shows up for like a little post credit scene in Wakanda Forever. Granted, I actually agree they didn't need to do anything. Ryan Coogler said we don't want to do anything else like that because of this movie. Tonally, everything, it checks out. I agree. Now seeing it, but like if you put him in WandaVision, it makes a little sense. Um, it's like you could have dropped little Kang pins everywhere. Kangpin. Oh my God, Kingpin variant is Kangpin.
Get the fuck out of here.
Oh my God. Yes. Adam Dwayne the Conqueror. So you could have added him to like little things. And so that would be like, okay, he's everywhere. You should be scared shitless. This guy is everywhere. How do you fight someone who's all these different versions of a bad, big, bad villain? And like, you're going to need a serious team up to fight that. That'd have been cool. But I don't think we're going to get that until phase 5. Especially, we know Quantumania. He's going to be a big antagonist for that. How do we see him afterwards? That remains to be seen because, we always knew Thanos is coming. Thanos is coming. When he finally came, you're like, fuck yeah, let's go. But I don't think we're going to get that same delivery with Kang just because of who he is. So I don't know. I'm curious.
Yeah. I'm super excited for Kang the Conqueror. I when we did Loki, you remember how much
Mhm.
I was gushing over He Who
Yeah.
Remains, Jonathan Majors. What was the fucking line? He says, "A leader, a conqueror, he who remains, conqueror." like eating his apple, doing his thing. I was like, I fucking love this guy. I'm so excited. And I guess like I said, I don't watch the trailers, but one of the guys at work said something to me the other day about, I think he was just quoting Kang from the trailer. I don't know if Kang has any speaking lines in the Quantumania trailer, but I was like, okay, okay. But when you were talking, I thought of something. Totally left my mind when you started talking about Kang the Conqueror.
He has that effect on us.
Yeah. So, phase 4
Mm-hmm.
is all done.
Yeah, dude. And it's wild.
We were just talking. I don't know if he said phase 4 ended with Wakanda
Mhm.
Forever, but
Where does Guardians
it
fall in this?
but does it end with the Guardians, or does Guardians start phase 5, or does it
Does it really
not
matter?
really matter?
Yeah, I mean, it really
You know?
doesn't. But I mean, maybe that's not true though, because like we said, we got some big truth bombs. Mantis is related to Quill. They own Nowhere. Also, Bucky's arm.
Oh yeah, we forgot about Bucky's arm.
You know, that was probably like one of the biggest things talked about in that whole special. And I'm so glad within the first weekend, Gunn responded to tweets about it. He was like, Nebula felt the holiday spirit, so she went and she took it. That's what he said. Like she went and she took it.
I don't think it's. I think people are reading too much into a holiday special.
I 100% agree.
I feel like come Thunderbolts, he's not going to be standing there with one arm doing his fucking thing. But maybe he will be. I doubt it.
The left arm. I'll probably have a new arm too for Thunderbolts.
Let's end here with a little phase 4 ranking.
Do it.
We did them right before we started going. 16 projects.
So we're not including the holiday special.
We did not include the holiday special. Give me your. I can't even find my 16. There it is. Give me your 16 through 11.
Okay, so we're doing these combined shows and movies because why not? So for my 16, I have Miss Marvel. 15 is What If. I have a feeling our lists are going to be very similar, but maybe not here. At number 14, I have Moon Knight, and then 13 is Eternals. Then 12, Love and Thunder. 11 is Multiverse of Madness.
Okay.
Yeah.
16, I have What If.
Okay.
15, I have Eternals.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the same there. 14, I have Miss Marvel.
Okay.
13, She-Hulk.
Ooh, wow.
12, Moon Knight.
Oh, interesting.
You're not going to love this. 11, I have Wakanda Forever.
Wow. That low.
I told you, I don't know if you remember when we were doing it, but I said, that seems a little low. but when I was doing it, I might, obviously all these things can fluctuate, but at the time that I was doing it, Black Panther Wakanda Forever was 11.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. The one that I take away from too is like I was expecting you to have Moon Knight a little bit higher, but I bet I know why you have it ranked so low.
There's so much Steven.
And all the action.
Yeah, Moon Knight. I always explain to people, Moon Knight's the only show I've ever seen where they have action and then they just go, and then all the action is over and you don't get any of it, and they don't bring it back later. Nothing. You just don't see it. And it blows my mind. I was like, give me something. And I liked Steven with a V, but like, he was boring to me. I was like, this is like, can something happen? Can you give me something? So Moon Knight was pretty low. It was lower on yours. You had it at 14?
Yeah, the more I think about it, like whenever I always come back to like when I go to rank stuff, how rewatchable is something. Because that usually determines like, did I really enjoy it enough to rewatch this? Like to dedicate that time, And when it's this whole series or like a 3-hour movie or whatever, that's time you got to take out, right? So you want it to be worth it. So with Moon Knight, I thought it was great that we actually got Moon Knight as a character, like literally in the MCU. That was awesome. I thought I had some really good moments and everything, but like I wasn't blown away. And I felt like it was kind of just glossed over, and like I'm okay with the whole like blackout scene of like, because they were trying to show that there is a third personality and save it as the post credit because they're setting up for season 2, whatever. But like, I think that was a big cop out with that final battle. Literally, like that should have been the moment where you don't like do the blackout and you show us how brutal he fucking is, and then we're like, "Who are you?" And then he snaps back to like, was it Steven or Mark at that point?
Yeah, to whoever.
Yeah. So it's like, damn, like that would have been cool. And it just became like a big Godzilla fight too with Khonshu
And Amit.
yeah, like whatever.
People get mad at me when I say this. So throw me all the hate and the shade that you need to. The show is called Moon Knight. Give me some Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Or even Mr. Knight is fine. Give me something. Like, I understand that you can't just give me a Moon Knight show. But I am historically critical of things that aren't what they seem. You watch Iron Man 3. How much Iron Man is in Iron Man 3? Very
Kind of a
little.
Christmas movie.
There's very little Iron Man in Iron Man 3, which is why I don't fucking watch that movie. I'm not, like, I want to see Iron Man when I'm watching Iron Man. I don't want to see Tony Stark 3. I want, or if you call it Tony Stark 3, I know what I'm getting into.
Gotcha.
But like Moon Knight, the first episode ends with him just beating the shit out of that jackal or whatever the hell. You're like, okay. And then the next episode, no Moon Knight. The third episode, no Moon Knight. Like, there's so little Moon Knight.
Yeah.
And Mr. Knight was cool. Steven doing his whole thing. That was fine. But I feel like if you're doing your first season of Moon Knight, give us Moon Knight. Mr. Knight is cool. He looks cool. He's awesome, right? Different fighting style than Moon Knight, but like different fighting. Trying to put 10 pounds of flour in a 5-pound sack here. Which is why it's probably good that they didn't bring
Jake. Yeah.
Jake Lockley into the show, because then you're fitting 15 pounds of flour in a 5-pound sack. But it's just like, give me Moon Knight. If I'm watching Batman, I'm not trying to watch Bruce Wayne. I'm trying to watch fucking Batman.
Right.
That's all I gotta say about it.
That's fair, man. And maybe season 2 will, now that we finally get like all the cats out of the bag, right? We'll actually see a better story, because now there's nothing to hide other than the fact that the situational irony of the characters not even knowing that, there's a third guy in the room, right? Or he's taking the lead. So we'll see.
You had Thor Love and Thunder so low.
Yeah,
I know why you did. So it's not like I have to ask you 1,000 questions, but you had it so low.
I know, like, and I think I said it episodes ago, but like when I decided, I was like baking or something, and I decided to just throw on Love and Thunder for the first time since the theatrical experience, and I did tear up more, and I did like have a better time with it. But as a film overall, I just felt like it fell flat for me. That it's not that gore should have been a much bigger fucking deal. He barely, like, to your point, it's called Moon Knight. Where's my Moon Knight? If he's the God Butcher,
it's not called Gore the God Butcher the movie.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying his name is Gore the God Butcher.
He butchers gods. You just don't.
He
see
like
him
butchers like
butchering
what,
gods.
2 gods off screen. So like I like, and he, I guess in the comics too, is a much bigger like foe. And I would have loved to see that. Granted, the way it ends, I think it's still a very touching thing. It's just like sometimes when they get, I feel like when the MCU gets like spread too thin, you're sacrificing what could have been longer. Like same thing with Age of Ultron, right? It was like what, a week of Ultron?
Yeah.
Ultron should have much is a pretty big villain for good reasons. Like he really can fuck things up. And I kind of feel like maybe he'll eventually come back at some point.
We can only hope.
At least for Secret Wars, because he's prominent in Secret Wars in the comics. So I think it'd be
Secret
pretty cool.
Wars is gonna be fucking wild, dude.
And you could kill off anyone you want.
I think we'll get into it. I don't want to bring it up right now.
So that's why I just rank it so low. And then Doctor Strange, I feel like it was
Oh yeah,
okay.
you did Doctor Strange down there. I know you didn't love Doctor Strange.
It's mainly because of the Raimi-isms, man. Some people love it. If you're a big Raimi fan, you have a great time. Me, I don't want to watch every fucking little Easter egg to your own IP and property.
Yeah, You had She-Hulk higher than I thought you were gonna. I didn't realize you liked She-Hulk that much.
I almost put She-Hulk higher in my list than where it's at right now because the rewatch
Oh
did
yeah, you
a,
did your rewatch.
the rewatch that I binged did a big change in my opinion on it, and it really grew on me. And I think a lot of it has to do with Tatiana Maslany. Yeah, she carries that.
All right. Well, let's move on here. 10 through what is it? 6?
Yeah. So my 10 is The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Okay.
Number 9 is Werewolf by Night. 8 is Black Widow. 7 is She-Hulk. And then number 6 is Loki.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Hit me with yours.
You're not gonna love this. I promise you, because I know this is gonna be in your top 3. My number 10,
I knew you were
WandaVision.
about to say it.
WandaVision.
I'm not that bothered by it, but proceed.
Our 9s were the same. Werewolf by Night.
Oh, cool.
Our 8s were the same. Black Widow.
Mm,
7, Multiverse of Madness.
okay.
6 was Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
right now we're about the same. You have WandaVision higher than I do.
Hmm.
I have Thor: Love and Thunder higher than you do. I have Loki higher than you do. What else? I have you still have to go to Black Panther, but
We'll get there.
I digress. We'll get there when we get there. Black Widow,
So we both have it at number 8.
number 8. I like that movie. I still like that movie. I love him. I love the Red Guardian. I love him.
Yeah.
And I understand people not loving, it's fine. I get it. He's barely in it. He's just comedic relief, but he's just like this. He's funny. He's strong. I enjoy him. I enjoy David Harbour. I'm probably not going to watch him in Violent Night or whatever it's called, where he's Santa. I don't care much.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't care enough about that to watch that, but I do enjoy it. I thought it was good that Nat had her own solo film after doing so much heavy lifting through the whole MCU, and now she's getting shit on for her solo film. I thought that was not fair.
Hmm.
Dreykov sucks, but you're not going to hit it out of the park every fucking time.
Hmm.
The biggest problem with the movie is Taskmaster. I
Right.
agree. Taskmaster was fucking lame. I
Mhm.
get it. I need a Taskmaster Funko Pop for my Thunderbolts display that I'm doing.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to get like the old school and the new school of them.
Cool.
But I don't want to pay $13 for a Taskmaster Pop because I don't think it's worth that much money.
I'm surprised it's even
On
going for that
Amazon,
much.
I have to go to like a place and see it for $6 because nobody wants that
clearance.
shit. But yeah, she didn't do like I didn't read the comics. A lot of people that I talked to were big comic people, but I was first introduced to Taskmaster in the Spider-Man PS4 game where
Same.
has the photographic memory and he talks a lot of shit and you're just like, I fucking hate this guy.
Mhm.
He beats the fuck out of you every time because he knows what you're doing.
Yep.
Where this one is just dead silent. Still, I don't understand why everyone was so upset about the way she fought. A, they were mad that she was a girl. B, they were like, well, she should have a photographic memory and fight just like, well, she was. She fought like Bucky. She fought like Natasha. She did, with the little screen time she had, she does the shit with her shield like Cap. I don't understand what the big problem is, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I think a lot of it comes down to is like the fact, like what makes Taskmaster so unique is the fact like he can do all those copying and stuff. So the fact that you took away the skill of the antagonist villain versus just a program.
Okay.
That's why.
I guess, but
Yeah.
I don't know. And then you had a Werewolf by Night lower than I thought you were gonna.
Yeah, I had it at 9. I think I've only watched it once too. I don't think it warranted a rewatch yet. It is so cool, like what it actually is. I don't know why I always thought it was supposed to be animated, so I was so like pleasantly surprised. Um, but it's just like it's a special, right? So Guardians special, same title, little special card, but it actually has its place in the MCU and because of the characters and everything. But where does it's yet to be seen But where is Werewolf by Night actually gonna lead us into like the future of the MCU? Other than the fact like Man Thing is not on the loose, but he's free. And then what does it mean for that? I forget the name of the like the amulet they caught and everything too. I guess that has some pretty big things.
The
The
Bloodstone.
Bloodstone, right? Right.
Yeah, Elsa Bloodstone.
Yeah. So I imagine it's got to tie in eventually down the road, but where? So that's why I just don't know yet because it's like just like with What If, right? How much were these episodes supposed to be part of a bigger narrative versus how much were they literally just a one off? What if? Have fun, tell a little story, and move on.
Werewolf by Night is one of those things where if I was flipping through channels back in 2001, when
Yeah.
you flip through channels, and I just saw something on and I watched it, but I didn't see the very, very beginning, I would have never guessed that that was a Marvel thing. I'm a little familiar with Man Thing, but not enough to be like, that's a Marvel thing.
Right.
I would have gone that whole thing, werewolf, Dracula, fucking David Bowie looking
Yeah.
ass,
Yeah.
Jessica Jones looking ass,
Mm-hmm.
Man Thing doing his thing. And I would have been like, oh, that was a Halloween thing. It wasn't terrifying. It was enjoyable. Whatever. Next. But if there was no Marvel tag on it, I would have never guessed that that was a
Mhm.
Marvel thing.
That's fair. I think it's because it was produced and made so well. That's why it really earned the respect. But I agree. It's just opening up more of the characters like in Marvel that you never even knew were characters.
Yeah, you said Santa Claus is a Marvel character, but like the werewolf and Dracula and
Mhm.
all those classic horror things are all Marvel characters too.
And that's another thing. So we know that Werewolf by Night, that issue or whatever, 15, was the first appearance of Moon Knight.
That's what we were all hoping for. It was like a Moon Knight something.
Yeah, because you get like that's why I felt it was weird, right? And you brought up like didn't feel like they really had a big plan as much, like connected or like tightly wound. How you gonna release Moon Knight and Werewolf by Night in the same year, the same phase, and not have a little bit of a connection, right? So like if you want to say Werewolf by Night is supposed to have like a connection more to the MCU, that would be your connection. What if Jake Lockley shows up as one of the people hunting because Khonshu wants that bloodstone? Or like something else. Like that'd be kind of cool. But also you could argue that maybe it takes away from what makes Werewolf by Night special.
Even just a mention of a name or
Yeah.
something.
You could have just been at the end and then leave it as a cliffhanger.
Yeah, literally anything. But
Yeah.
they just, I guess, if it tanked, they would have been like, we tried.
Right. So they learned from the Inhumans.
Oh, good old Inhumans.
So before we go into the top 5, I just want to ask, so you've talked about why you kind of usually rank WandaVision lower, but for the listener's sake, why do you have it at, it was near number 10, right?
WandaVision is my number 10.
So why is that?
I didn't love it. I didn't love it, but I also didn't like hate it. WandaVision holds a special place in my heart because in the middle of WandaVision, we started our podcast.
Hell yeah, man.
So let's go back in time a little bit, hop into our Quantum Realm reverse Mobius strip. Far From Home comes out. We watch that. Life is good.
Mm-hmm.
My best friend in the world, Richard, hasn't seen 70% of the Marvel movies.
Right.
So we go through a watch through. He comes over every Thursday or every Wednesday, whatever the fuck it was.
Mm-hmm.
And we watch a Marvel movie. Henry's still really little. He goes to bed earlier than he does now. Cool. We made it through every movie. We get to Captain Marvel, which at the time was, I think, Infinity War, Captain Marvel, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Endgame, Far From Home. I think that's how the end goes.
Yeah, you're right.
So we made it to Captain Marvel. We only had 3 movies after that.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Marvel comes out, and I noticed Richard's on his phone a lot. And I'm like, what? And he goes, Rudy Gobert, a basketball player for the Utah Jazz at the time, he's getting in a lot of trouble because he said it's something about this thing going on in China. Touched all the microphones and he left.
I remember that.
And then all of a sudden, the whole fucking world shut down. And it was like surreal. Now that we're here, it's a little more laxed now. But at the time, it was surreal.
Yeah, like what is
how
this?
They were just like, don't go to the store, just stay in your house. And it was crazy. Like, we didn't watch the other movies. We were afraid to see each other. Not that we were afraid to. We
You just
didn't
don't
want
know.
to.
There
We
was a lot
didn't
of
want to get
unknown.
each other sick.
Yeah.
And believe what you want to believe, but I was taking the cautious route.
Mhm.
I had a young kid,
Right.
and not you. I know how you feel about it, but for whoever's listening to my sultry voice right now, I was just trying to be safe. That's all.
For the record, I am not anti-vax or anything.
I know, but I don't want to offend anybody and have somebody be like, "Fuck you, you hippie."
You're good.
So we didn't watch the other movies until much later. And I know you're sitting here going, what the fuck does this have to do with WandaVision? We had a big ass gap there
hmm
with nothing.
Yeah.
So Far From Home came out in July.
2019.
And then I think WandaVision came out in January 2020.
2021.
Was it 2021?
No, I'm a liar. Yes, it is 2021. Because no, I'm a liar. It's no, okay. Yes, it was 2021 because March is 2020 is when the lockdown happened and we were still in the COVID phase of everything you just described. So it was 2021
So we went a year and a half. A year and
with nothing.
more than a half of nothing.
Yeah.
And, we were starting to get the itch. And it's like, oh, fucking Black Widow. The reason that a lot of people hate it so much is that it got delayed, got delayed, it got delayed, it got delayed. You were so ready to go see it, delayed. Okay, whatever. We're going to go see it this day, delayed. Fuck.
Right.
Finally, you go see it and you're like, well, that wasn't worth delaying it all those times. But I still enjoy it. Like, I don't go into things going, I had to wait all this time for that. Whatever.
Yeah.
You got to wait. You got to wait. Cool.
Mhm.
We waited a year and a half. And now I'm sitting here going, I had to wait all the time for that because that's exactly what I'm about to say. And then we got all cozy in our beds. Fucking WandaVision. I was like, this is going to be fucking sick. Vision is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
He was fucking terrible in Infinity War. We're not going to talk about that. Wanda is so badass. Let's be real here. Elizabeth Olsen, smoking hot. Cannot wait for this fucking shit. First episode comes on, ends. I go, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
If we waited all that time and then Werewolf by Night was the first thing on, that would have been number 15 for sure. Number 16, whatever. Because
interesting.
That first episode of WandaVision had nothing to do with Marvel at all. That was just characters. And then they were like, look, I can fucking make dinner and fucking, it was black and white. It was
right.
Fucking, what's her name? Deborah Jo Rupp going, stop.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Got all creepy.
And I just wasn't taking in the big picture. I was just expecting Marvel to be like, we're fucking back. But they did not do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, not loving it. And I think it was episode 4 where I was really like Jimmy Woo was in it and I was really getting into it. And it just, I don't know. I liked Agatha. I loved Agatha. Agatha Harkness. I thought she was awesome. You knew something was going on with her because she was so close to the main thing. The side story with the bad guy who didn't even
with Sword and Monica Rambeau and all that stuff.
Tyler or something or another.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It was
the director Hayward.
That's his name.
Yeah.
Good, not great. My expectations were too high, and that's my fault. I wanted more than what I got. But when you're dealing with the Scarlet Witch, and you're dealing with Vision, who are two of the most powerful characters in Marvel, and you get like almost nothing. It was just it just rubbed me the wrong way. The whole Darcy thing and Vision not knowing what the hell was going on. I don't know. I expected more.
Now, you brought up Darcy, too. That was one thing I was kind of surprised. Darcy didn't mention anything about what happened in Westview in Love and Thunder. And very, very brief appearance, but still, I was kind of like, really? Nothing? She was like, so where you been? Oh, it's a long story. Like, that'd been funny.
I guess she's dealing with stage 4 cancer, Jane Foster, but I don't know. We'll see if we get more Woo and Quantumania. I don't know.
Also, I think Darcy's a Skrull.
Of course you do.
I think she is.
We'll see. We will see. WandaVision, that's why I don't have it at like 14. For a long time, it was at the very bottom because
wow.
I'm just saying, for a long time before we
Yeah.
got more stuff. It was real low.
Gotcha. Good point.
But now we've gotten more stuff, and I'm like, well, WandaVision was better than Moon Knight. It was better than She-Hulk. It was better than this other stuff. But I still think there's shows better than that.
Yeah.
Like, I had Falcon and Winter Soldier at 6. I really enjoyed Falcon and Winter Soldier. On the contrary to WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier opens up fucking Sam flying through the sky, taking out missiles and shit, fighting George St. Pierre in the first fucking episode. Hell yeah. Hook me up.
You know, and that series too was originally supposed to be the first Marvel streaming series we were supposed to get on Disney Plus. But then it got pushed back because of COVID. And like phase 4 definitely would have been totally different if COVID never happened. That's fair to say. It altered a lot of stories and everything. Timelines. It's nuts. But I mean, a lot of that plot was supposed to be about a virus. So they had to cut a lot out and try and reshape it. So like, I feel like that show probably could have been a little bit better if that didn't happen. But you know, it still got some really cool moments. It's just, I don't know. It wasn't as like, wow to me. It didn't blow
Falcon
my
and
mind.
Winter
But, like,
Soldier?
there are some, yeah. But there are some really good moments. Like all the Isaiah Bradley stuff. I fucking love that that's in there. It made me tear up so many times. Like actually seeing more about, you know, what does it mean to take up the mantle, be Captain America. It was good. But we got
John Walker is fucking awesome.
yeah. Like
you say yeah, like you believe it.
I'm thinking
I love John Walker. Here I am. Fight me.
It remains to be seen what we'll get from him in Thunderbolts. But yeah, that's why I just kind of rank it a little bit lower. But I also haven't really done a full rewatch of it. I did one kind of like one of those lazy ones where it's like it's just on, and you know, if I miss stuff, I miss stuff. But it was fun because that was, I think, the first show we actually did a full episode by episode review because we were at the tail end of WandaVision. So it was pretty fun to try and you know, get our feet wet as podcasters. So
well, all right,
5-1.
No, give me 5 and 4.
Okay, number 5, Hawkeye, and then 4 is Shang-Chi.
4 is Shang-Chi. All right, my 5 is Thor: Love and Thunder.
Okay,
and my 4 is Hawkeye.
Interesting.
I genuinely enjoyed Hawkeye.
Mm-hmm.
We all know what I loved about Thor: Love and Thunder. I've beaten it to death. We don't need to talk about it. Hawkeye, good as hell. Haley Steinfeld. Oh. Plus, she's good in the show. I'm watching it again. She's fighting Jack with the fencing.
Yeah.
You know, they pull the cover over your eyes with Jack, thinking he's going to be the bad guy.
Yep.
Boom. Not him. Armand, that whole thing. Plus Clint not being able to hear.
Right.
I just got through the episode where he's talking to Nathaniel,
Mm-hmm.
the youngest from
Back home.
Age of Ultron, where
Mhm.
she's pregnant with him. Now he's, what, 6? Something
Yeah,
like
give or
that.
take.
And he's talking to him on the phone, and he can't hear a word. And it's just Kate writing down the cliff notes, and then he talks. And then
Mhm.
just kind of now, I mean, I was a dad when it came out, but now as a dad to like a kid that talks, it's like, oh, that's fucking terrible. What if I wasn't able to hear my kids, you know?
Yeah, right.
So it's just good show.
Mhm.
I don't think it's like, as we're going to find out, I don't think it was the best show, but I do think it was a good show. So trying to do my math here with yours. I know you have at least one show, one movie,
I have one show and 2 movies.
2 movies. Okay, so I know your top 3. I don't know the order, but I do.
I think I have yours down too.
But okay. Hit me with your number 3.
Number 3 is Wakanda Forever.
Black Panther: Wakanda Forever.
So you know my 2 and my 1.
You didn't say Black Panther, you fucker, but
I just keep calling it Wakanda Forever.
That's
I think
fine.
it's easier to say.
I had it ranked low. I think if I watched it again, I'd rank it a little higher.
I've yet to rewatch it. I've been wanting to. I haven't had the time to do so. But like, dude, that movie was probably the one I was outside of No Way Home, the one I was most like I need more of a fix on, because I listened to that soundtrack. I dove into it. I fucking loved like learning little bits and pieces about like the story more, little things I missed. Like I don't know why, but Wakanda Forever really stuck with me, and I had a good time with it. So I'm still really excited to finally go rewatch it when I
What's the
can.
YouTube channel where the guy dives in and he's like, "Here's fucking 700
Oh, New
Easter egg, new
Rockstars.
rock stars."
Yeah.
I watched a bunch of him, and there's another guy where he pretends he's in a movie store. He's got like a little dog, and they do the same thing where they're like, "Here's
I don't know that one.
you'd probably know it if you saw it, but here's a bunch of Easter eggs you missed." And I watched a lot of stuff about um that movie. Still, the biggest thing that I've taken away that I've only heard from you was the fact that Riri threw a heater, no, threw a radio or speaker,
Mm-hmm.
and then she was going to hit her with a heater. Like that's exactly how they killed, or not killed, but that's exactly how they attacked him. And I was like, holy shit!
Yeah.
I never, ever would have figured that out ever. My number three, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Nice.
You had that at 4.
That was my. Was it my
5?
5?
I think it was 4. I think Hawkeye was your
Yeah,
4.
4 was Shang-Chi. I was okay. So
Or Hawkeye was your 5, and
4 was Shang-Chi.
so we had it pretty close.
I'm kind of surprised that see it so high on your list.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. I like you. Like we've talked about. Shang-Chi a little bit suffers from boring main character syndrome,
Kind of like the original Black Panther.
where like the side characters are more
Exactly.
entertaining than the
Yeah.
than the main character.
Mm-hmm.
But as you grow, I think you get better. Like the original Black Panther and Shang-Chi are very similar movies.
Yeah.
The bad guy is more interesting to you than the main character. Like Killmonger, everybody loves Killmonger. Everyone thought Wenwu was awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
The motives are really good.
Black Panther, his sidekick Shuri is like a wisecracking girl versus Shang-Chi's got Katie.
Mm-hmm.
Talo.
Yeah.
Is that
Talo.
Tylo is Wakanda, but
Mm-hmm.
Asian.
Yeah.
So, but I loved Shang-Chi.
Mhm.
I'm a real big martial arts fan. That probably plays into it a lot, where it's not guns and blasters. You know, look at my favorite people. It's, Captain America, who fights with his hands, and Shang-Chi and Black Panther. They all fight with their hands. I don't get me wrong, I fucking love Thor. I will always say in the Incredible Hulk, when everybody asks me about the Incredible Hulk, I go, dude, he rips a car in half. I say it every time.
There it is.
He rips a car in half and he uses it as boxing gloves. I love people that use their hands. And Shang-Chi,
Mhm.
uses his hands and his feet and his knees and everything else. That fucking bus scene is amazing. The side of the building scene, amazing. And he still stays like fun with Katie,
Yeah.
where he's more boring with the rest of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
When it's with Katie, he's still going out and singing karaoke and talking to that other girl who doesn't know what the fuck is going on,
Right.
and stuff like that. I think Shang-Chi was just so well done.
Mhm.
And on the opposite end of WandaVision, I wanted this much from WandaVision and I got this much. So I had this much disappointment.
Yeah.
Shang-Chi, I expected this much and I got this much. So there was this much happiness from Shang-Chi. And obviously, if you're listening, you can't see what I'm doing, but you probably get the gist
Yeah.
of
You
what
can
I'm
further the
saying.
scale.
So Shang-Chi, I just really enjoyed it. And it would have been my favorite Phase 4 movie if
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I think we each have a show and a movie left. And yeah, it would have been my favorite Phase 4 movie had, this legendary movie not come out in Phase 4.
That's pretty cool, man. I mean, like, that's why I kind of have it so high too, is because it did a really cool job of doing a really unique origin story, like of introduction of Shang-Chi and everything. But like the combat, man, honestly, that might be next to like the Winter Soldier. That probably is the number one MCU film for fight choreography and everything. It's just so damn good. And like, I really feel for the characters, but I agree. Like, Shang-Chi himself feels a little kind of flat on the surface. And Simu Liu is a great actor, great everything. Haven't seen him blow up in big roles yet, outside of just Marvel. So is that a a commentary on his actual ability to perform. I don't know. It's kind of besides the point, but overall, like I had a really good time with the movie. Soundtrack was dope. Everything was pretty cool. And it did a good job of like showing other stuff too. So we'll see.
Simu Liu, he's got some funny TikToks and stuff.
Yeah.
He's around. I just saw a commercial with him and Giannis Antetokounmpo, who is a basketball player. He's like
Oh, I think I saw that. Yeah.
7 feet tall, and Simu Liu's like standing with him talking for a while, and they're doing their thing, and then he like steps down from his little platform.
Yeah.
And Giannis is like a foot and a half taller than him. I thought that was funny. Also, I didn't mention like the badass sidekick where Simu Liu's sister is
Oh yeah.
Xing Li
Yeah.
is like a badass versus like Okoye is this badass that's right there with him. Obviously Shi Ling. I think it's Shi Ling, not Xing Li. Shi Ling, she has other motives versus Okoye is so very loyal, but they're not the exact same. They just have a lot of similarities.
Right.
So that was my
stuff,
3,
man.
Shang-Chi. So your 2
Nice.
obviously is
Number 2, WandaVision. Number 1, No Way Home.
My number 2 was Loki, and my number 1 was No Way Home.
That's pretty cool. So a show and a movie took the top 2 for both of us. Loki is very, very good, but it's just like I've said it a million times, so I won't repeat myself. But like, I love WandaVision so much just because finally got it back. I love the mystery. I love how batshit it got with the speculation, although a lot of it was fan expectation overdoing it.
Mephisto confirmed.
Well, we're gonna get him in 2023, apparently. Confirmed, I guess. But like, I loved it. I thought it was really cool, and it really made me kind of appreciate Scarlet Witch and Olsen a little bit more because we finally got to see why she's such just a big deal, man. And she's powerful and she's fucking nuts, and it was cool. But I just felt like sometimes, just fans kind of got the best of themselves because of how they were going off the rails. But I love it. It's a good time. And I just love like the sitcominess of it. I love that they really try to push for something so weird. And it's got source material from the comics doing the weirdness, but it was cool. And I think a lot of it comes down to how well the cast just pulls it off with Olsen and Bettany and Catherine Hahn, especially. Just, it's great. And then, of course, we'll talk about No Way Home, but Loki, number 2 for you.
You had Loki so low. I think Loki was like number 12 for you or something like that.
And I was even thinking about it too when I was doing the rating. I was like, why do I have Loki so low? And I think it's because after a while, I really just kind of get tired of the whole 70s kind of look with like the TVA and like the color palette, and it just looks very like mustardy bland to me. I haven't done a rewatch. I've tried. I haven't done a full one yet, but I think in time it will get better for me in my list. Just right now,
I just started a Hawkeye
high.
rewatch as we talked about like an hour and a half ago. But Loki's the only show that I have rewatched and actually sat there and watched it.
Gotcha.
Loki is the only show where I was like, I need to see the next episode. All these other shows, I could have waited a day, 2 days, 3 days, whatever. Watch it when I watch it. All these other shows, some people like to just, Alyssa is one of these people. Some people like to wait until they're all out and then watch them all at the same time. I feel like with most of these shows, I could have done that. With What If, I could have waited till they were all out and then never watched the show at all, personally. But with Loki, I was just like, oh, I need to see what happens next. Oh, I need to see what happens next. Loki was awesome. Sylvie, awesome. I like that different variants of Loki have different powers. They're not all the same thing.
Right.
And then you had the little crew. A boastful Loki was, he was what he was. Kid Loki was entertaining. He killed Thor. Holy shit. Alligator Loki was a fucking alligator. Whatever. But classic Loki's where it lies. Like that guy was amazing. When he rises Asgard to distract Eliath.
Mm-hmm.
It was just incredible just watching that. Just like, oh my, chills. The whole thing with the TVA and I can't, the timekeepers. I couldn't remember their names, but like trying to brainwash Hunter B-15. It is B-15.
Oh wow.
Trying to brainwash her, and then they brainwashed the other girl that they told her that she had killed herself, that she was dead or whatever.
Yeah.
And really she was doing like martinis with Sylvie, trying to get information out of her. Like, it was such a good, I thought it was so good. And the timekeepers ended up being robots, and you're like, no fucking way. And then all of a sudden Loki gets fucking pruned, and you're like, get the fuck out of here. What is going on? It was so good. And I haven't even mentioned Mobius. Mobius had this great chemistry with Loki. I thought the whole thing with everybody just waiting to see this guy on a jet ski, and it never happened. But
jet ski, yep.
But you're just like, fucking Deadpool. I think he's supposed to be in Deadpool. If Deadpool doesn't put him on a jet ski, we're never going to see that guy on a jet ski.
So, side note, do you know why the whole Deadpool connection? So apparently there was a tweet.
Miss Minutes, I saw.
And like,
so I assume there's going to be like a TVA time variance.
Yeah,
thing
and like
between Logan and Deadpool, bringing them into the MCU. I think that's
dude. Can you imagine? Yeah, like literally TVA is how they explain how Deadpool gets in. Like literally, imagine literally, it's probably just Loki, this show, but swap in Wolverine and Deadpool. It kind of works.
Yeah,
I'm sure if it's.
I can just imagine a whole Deadpool wearing the Loki jacket and everything, but it's Deadpool's mask and him just making fun of it.
Gonna be wild.
But I feel like if they're gonna bring Mobius in, even for a split second, it'll be him on a fucking jet ski.
And that's how they could fill in Deadpool. Like, this is everything that happened with all of the MCU, how they show Loki's like life in front of him on that screen. Imagine him just doing a commentating, like, what the fuck? How'd they let him do that? Like, why did she do this? And like, holy fuck, like, what am I missing? Like,
yeah,
it's like, I could have killed him.
Or like him on his jet ski. Wow. Because he never said wow or anything. Like,
oh my God, yeah.
It was just so gripping. And then He Who Remains comes in and he stole the show, the last episode.
And it's all just talk.
It's
just a conversation.
Yeah, he doesn't really do anything. All of a sudden he's just like, now I don't know what's going to happen. And you're like, well, what happened at that moment? Is that when this happens? Is that when this happens? What's going on?
Suspense.
And so you're going to get more out of that and everything. Eliath, I don't think they kill Eliath.
I don't know if you can. It's almost like
so
he's
probably still around somewhere doing something.
Yeah.
Renslayer is like a real big part of Kang the Conqueror and
the love interest, I believe.
Yes, and the whole thing with He Who Remains. So she'll be around, and I feel like this is just such a big thing to happen, and I was just like blown away. Season 2, I think there's a teaser out or a trailer, or maybe I'm wrong.
I think so they just had recently at this Disney, like kind of like Comic-Con, but it's for, I think it was in the Philippines, like the APAC, the Asian Pacific area and everything. And nothing was shown or released, but that's why we got the Guardians trailer, I think, and then other stuff. But from what I heard, there was like shots shown, maybe a trailer for Loki, but like at least like stills a little bit, showing more like, just photo stills. But I guarantee we're probably gonna get a trailer for Loki season 2 within, I'd say probably February. It's my bet.
Hate to be a downer. I think season 2 is not going to be as good as season 1. I think season 1 was just so big for me. I was like, I went in. Loki is one of those characters where everybody, you love him or you hate him. I didn't love him. I was like, I don't see why everybody loves this guy so much. And even in the show, I didn't love Loki so much, but all the other characters, fucking Casey, we laugh about Casey all the time.
For season 2.
Is he really?
Yep, I saw it confirmed. There's one article because no one really gave a shit, but we love Casey.
Yeah, so I just, what's a fish? I just loved Loki so much. And I don't even know how I'm beating a dead horse at this point. How upset are you that you're never going to be able to watch Spider-Man No Way Home for the first time on opening night ever again.
Well, not good. It's funny. So I was depending on when all this is released and everything, I was fortunate to be a guest on the Two Sides of Story podcast. And that was a question I asked. I was like, is there anything you guys ever wish there was, like, whether a movie experience, whatever it was, you wish you could go back and, like, forget your memory, do it all over again? Because, you only get to experience something for the first time once. And I would definitely, like, agree. No Way Home was such a damn good time. Oh my God. Can you imagine if that was the way Phase 4 ended on that note and everything? Like,
See, that would have been
that's like
a
fireworks.
better Phase 4 ender to me.
There have been 2 endings with Spider-Man as for a phase.
Or even
Far From Home and then No Way Home.
Even if you swap No Way Home with Thor Love and Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
You put Thor Love and Thunder coming out at the end of last year. You put No Way Home coming out. The timelines don't really match up because at the end of No Way Home, he's fighting in the snow.
And you kind of, no matter what, you need to have Multiverse of Madness after No Way Home.
True.
Yeah.
So that's the problem too. But I guess Black Panther didn't need to end it. So you could have had Black Panther and No Way Home come out last year, and then have No Way Home be like the crescendo, and then Multiverse of Madness be the fade out into at the end of Phase 4.
Interesting.
Where like Phase 2 ends with Ant-Man, but Age of Ultron was right before that. Where this one I think should have ended No Way Home, Multiverse of Madness. But
yeah,
what do I know? What do I know? That was one of the best movie-going experiences I think I could have ever asked for.
So much fun, man.
Everybody's so excited, cheering. I always say we picked the perfect seats as our group because sitting next to me was a little boy that was watching Blippi the whole time on the phone. And I know you would have been fucking pissed. I know Richard would have been so fucking mad if he was sitting where I was. But as a father, as a nonchalant guy, watch your show.
Your patience.
I get it. Your dad, your mom really want to see this movie. Not everybody has access to babysitters. I get it. Do your thing, little guy. I'm going to watch this fucking movie. I don't care. I'm so good at blocking out 3-year-olds. It's crazy.
Respect.
So I think it was perfect where I was sitting. The whole thing happened. The movie was fucking awesome. The cheering was amazing. I heard stories of people going to see it 2 weeks after it came out, and people had already seen it. It wasn't as big of a deal. When we saw, the cane hits the ground, it's Daredevil. Fucking Daredevil! Everyone's going nuts. The portal opens up. Andrew walks. You see Andrew all the way down at the alley. You're like, I know it. And then he comes in, he takes the thing off, puts it in his mouth. Oh my fucking God. He doesn't have the, I'm going so fast. I'm getting so excited. He doesn't have the spidey sense for bread. That's fucking hilarious. And then the other portal opens up. It's Toby just standing there. Jesus Christ. Like, you knew it was coming, but you didn't know. They did a really good job of keeping that under lock. Like, you knew it, but did you know?
It wasn't real until it was real.
Yeah, like, I feel like the whole Doctor Doom coming at the end of Black Panther was like, it was gonna happen. I've seen so many things talking about it, and it's like, this is why, and it made perfect sense, the explanations, and this and that, and then it didn't happen. And you're just like, oh, I guess he's not gonna be here.
Right, such is life.
And with this one, you're like, they gotta bring him in. And they're all like, nope, not in it. And they're like, I don't know, I'm thinking they're gonna be in it. And then they were. It was so good. Such a great movie going experience. Yeah. No Way Home. On the rewatch though, not as amazing as the first time.
Dude, honestly, and I think that's partially why I haven't gone and rewatched it yet.
It's still good, but there's no cheer. Like,
you lose the audience.
There's not even like a cheering track playing for obvious reasons. But like, Andrew walks in and you're sitting in your living room. It's just Andrew's there. There's no, there's no nothing. It's just, hey guys. In your mind, you're like, dude. But
you got that awkward silence for stuff.
Just like I watched the Honest trailer on YouTube for it, and they just show Andrew walking in, and there's no noise. You're like, yeah, this is weird.
Yeah.
So in the grand scheme of things, I think I ranked this movie number 2 of my all time. I don't know if I think that was a little recency bias at the time,
Yeah.
but it's still my favorite movie of this
Phase.
phase. It's still my favorite thing from this phase
Right.
because it was still so good. The Spider-Man all working together was good. The amazing references, the fucking the organic web references. That's another like
Yeah.
earlier, we've been talking forever. Earlier we said or I said that Marvel's been doing a good job answering questions where I'm just like, how the fuck is that? Like Andrew and Tom
Mhm.
both need to make their own web and they have web shooters. Or Toby's got the organic ones. And I was like, oh, they're probably not gonna bring that up. And then they fucking do.
And it's so good.
You're just like, this is amazing. This is so good. And I've had to defend this movie against people who just that weren't into the movies.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it was okay. I'm like, well, did you watch all the Spider-Man movies? They're like, yeah, when they came out. And I was like, yeah, but like, this is like a culmination. This was so amazing. This was so
It's
good.
a crazy payoff.
We just, this is like my childhood meeting right now and everything else. It's just phenomenal. It was okay. You know what? You're okay, you bastard.
Right.
But, anything that you'd like to say about Spider-Man No Way Home that I forgot to mention?
No, man, I think like you and I are agreeing a lot of things too. The only thing that's like that could have been a little bit better is if we got the true Sinister Six. I get why they didn't. We kind of technically got it with, Tom Hardy's Venom showing up at a bar, which was funny on point for his character. But the only thing it really does is really to set up that there is a symbiote in our 616 canon. That's really all it was set up to do. And I think I think I'm okay with it because, Sony Tom Hardy Venom is one type of tone, and then MCU Spider-Man totally different tone. So you have to either bring one up or bring one down to like match it. And that's why I think it's probably a good call to not bring, a main character to be a supporting character in this sort of movie. It just would have felt weird. It wouldn't fit in as well.
I feel like they didn't need to bring Venom in at all if they were just gonna not use him.
Hey, but you know what? Much better than what they did in fucking Morbius.
If that was on here, that would have been my number one for sure. Wakanda, Morbever. The Venom thing still pisses me off. I feel like I just said, don't bring him in at all if you're not going to use him. There's ways to get a symbiote into 616 without doing that. Just bring it in.
I mean, you could have just literally just saved him till Secret Wars, bring him in, then something happens, the symbiote suit attaches to Spider-Man, finally gets it, then you get Secret Wars black suit Spider-Man.
The god of the symbiotes, Null, makes the Necro Sword that was in Thor Love and Thunder.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not going to bring Null in. Who fucking knows who that is? Excuse me. But like, you don't need to do that to me, man. Like,
yeah,
when we saw Venom 2 and you saw Tom Holland at the end and he's licking the screen. Oh my God.
Yeah, that was a hype moment.
This is going to happen. And then this comes out and I wore a Venom shirt to the
Like, where's
movie
Venom
because I
gonna
was
pop in?
so
Yeah.
excited. Then he's at the end and he's like, Eddie, we're missing everything. You're drunk. He's just like, and then they just disappear.
What?
No. So that was my biggest gripe with the movie too. But it's a Venom gripe and not a
Right.
Spider-Man.
And who knows? Maybe it could have been Sony that tried to do a little bit crazy with trying to handle him, and maybe Feige had to step in and be like, "Listen, like I hear you. Here's a pat on the head." But
between DC and Sony are just like, what the fuck are you guys doing, man?
Yeah.
DC trying to do Spider-Man characters. Not DC. Sony trying to do Spider-Man characters. DC trying to do Black Adam and Shazam. And you're just like, you guys need to settle down.
Right. Well, damn, man. That's the list.
That's the list.
That is phase 4. It feels so weird. Literally feels like yesterday we were just finally getting back into Marvel, like you said. And here we are like at the end and getting ready for just like a month and a half, 2 months-ish until we get Ant-Man. And then we're back in phase 5. We start phase 5. So phase 4 is over.
Phase 5, off the top of my head, I can only think of 4 movies. And it's the 3 coming out next year. And then the Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolts is going to be the end, but also we're getting there's some movies we're forgetting. I can't remember what it is, but Fantastic Four is until Phase 6.
Shang-Chi 2?
That hasn't been announced. I think that's going to be a Phase 6 property.
Probably, but
Breakage of Time.
I'm trying to...
There's something else we're forgetting, but it'll come to us. But I know we're getting Born Again, the Daredevil series. Echo. Thunderbolts is the end. We're getting potentially Moon Knight.
Covenant of Chaos.
Covenant of Chaos, that's right.
But like,
Phase 5 is gonna go quick. I think it's like a year and a half.
Like, how stoked are you for Quantumania? How stoked are you for Guardians 3?
Those trailers, man.
I know
those trailers literally made me so much more excited because it's gonna be fucking nuts.
I know I'm on a
Especially
different
Quantumania.
I'm on a different plane, but Thunderbolts, I am so excited.
After Wakanda Forever, I'm more excited for it. I think it's gonna have a big tie, more than people expect.
Nobody's excited for it, I feel, but the fact that we're getting two of my favorite Phase 4 characters in John Walker and Alexei Shostakov, the Red Guardian, yes.
With Bucky too.
I mean, cool. But I digress. President
Thunderbolt Ross.
Han Solo. That's his name.
Harrison Ford.
I couldn't think of his name in Star Wars. President Han Solo.
Yeah.
Aren't you excited for that?
A lot to look forward to, man. And we'll definitely have to do a Phase 5 before it gets into the swing of things and do a little preview and talk more about it because there's a lot, man.
Seems like we got a month and a half.
And I can't wait till Secret Invasion.
2 months.
Cannot wait. Oh, that's the movie. Captain America: New World Order.
Is that a Phase 4?
That's Phase 5.
Or that's what I meant. Phase 5.
Yeah, I think it's towards the end. I think it's right before Thunderbolts.
Okay. So yeah. That's also big hype. So we'll see. Well, with the fear of dragging on even more after 2 hours and 17 minutes, let's go ahead and wrap this podcast up.
There's not much to go on. We don't really have any other shout outs more than what we already did for those who shared us as a top podcast that they listened to for their Spotify 22 Wrapped. Thank you again. So, guys, if you liked this episode, definitely help us out. Give us a little review. Go check out our merch store. Follow us, tag us on anything on social media related. You can find it all in the show notes on how to keep up with us more often. But we appreciate you all for sticking with us for this second year of pretty much doing the podcast. We're going to be almost going on to another anniversary in the spring of 2023. So we have a lot to look forward to. And if you enjoyed our Multiverse of March Madness, I did so many alliterations with M this year. That the most metal MCU moments with Metalcore Nerds, another M. Go check out that episode. We're going to really step it up for year 2 of that tournament. It's going to be so much fun. We got ideas.
My baby. I'm excited.
Fucking good. Yeah, man. That's it. We're done.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Make sure to follow us. Give us a review. Blah, blah, blah. Smash that like button. Yada, yada, yada. You're out here trying to date Russian men. Good for you.